Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi, hi. I had to fight my way to the bathroom to shower before stream since Dad was using it for like too long. I'm like, can you please hurry up? I want to shower, please. So now that I'm showered, I am here. Part of me was thinking, do I want to shower after stream? But then I thought to myself, my hair takes too long to dry naturally, and I am lazy, too lazy to dry my hair with a hairdryer. So I need to bathe before stream for the most part. Because I need this time to be the time to dry most of my hair. So I don't lie down with wet hair because I will. I know it's not good, but I do it nonetheless. Also, I hope that everything's like all good since I had to reset my settings. I had to reset my entire PC because for some reason my audio broke after the last updates that I did. But everything's working now. It should be working. But since I had to redo everything, re-download everything, set stuff up on OBS, hopefully all the settings are decent, especially the mic ones. I'm not sure how good it is. The only filter that I added on was the one to get rid of background sounds because I have fans on, because I am overheating, because I take hot showers. No matter how hot it is, I need a hot shower. I have issues. But yay, I get to continue the main story. It was so wholesome last time. We got a nice reunion with horn and bagpipe. Heck, the trio of sarcasms were adorable, especially Driver being the realest of the real. It was adorable. Hopefully it stays adorable, especially since that one Duke is around. Who knows, maybe he'll be a good boy. Wait a second. Oh no, it sounds a little weird. That's not good, actually. Shoot, let me check what happened. Okay, properties. I am using my microphone. I wish... Actually, wait a second. Let's see how it sounds. Don't mind me. Okay, microphone. Let's see what happens if I put monitor and output. Testing. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. I gotta figure out. Well, I guess for today it'll sound like this. Okay. If you can hear me fine, that's good then. I gotta check my filters later though. I don't want it to be weird. Since the mic should still be the same, but everything else... That's what happens when a reset is forced. Things break a little. But it's okay, that's good. Let's go to the main story then. Continue breaking the silence. Let's just hope that this one Duke is fine. That he's not gonna do a thing. So let's press start. What the heck? Wait a second. Okay, the screen was flashing for me for a little bit. I got scared. But now it's not flashing. Yay. Alright. So let's do mission start. Boop. Okay, we're still on their side. That's cute. Oh yeah, Wizardell Scale 3. Ah well, too late. Excuse me? Who are you, sir?
Phew, much better. Once you reach a certain age, you come to prefer bright and warm places. And... is that beans I smell?
I was cooking some canned beans for dinner. Do you want some, sir?
Don't mind if I do. Would be better if we had some seasoning from home, perhaps some marinated meat.
I like how you use this meat as a seasoning. I was thinking the same. We gotta dance.
What is it?
I ken who you are now, and you're a wee bit different from what's on the news.
Ah, well, you can ask your captain. I held her when she was wee. Little Rita touched my horn and asked why her dad didn't have one.
I apologize for my insolence at the time, Your Grace.
Not many have the nerve to touch my horns, Lieutenant Scamandros. You showed courage from a very young age. Or should I say, all of you are brave warriors of Victoria. Your defense of Chetley was outstanding, as well as was your performance at Brentwood. The Exemplars, as you call yourselves. I've long wanted to meet you, though it seems your leader does not welcome my presence.
Pardon my frankness, Your Grace, but it is hard to treat your sudden appearance as a pure gesture of good faith.
Of course, Lady Windermere, I understand, especially in times like this. I sent men to the Urnclad Gallivey. They were traveling quickly, but fortunately, I made it in time to present funeral flowers for Amphiles.
Oh, that's nice of him. He seems nice so far. He seems like a cool uncle. Please do not change from the cool uncle. Please stay as a nice uncle. I appreciate the gesture. I assume the Duke of Gododin hasn't come all this way here just to give us a medal.
What if I say I have?
Most of us are neither nobles nor intelligentsia. It'll be best if you didn't beat around the bush.
Your Royal Highness Alexandrina is as direct as they say. Or would you prefer that I called you Siege, like your friends do? I fully understand why the Exemplars avoided the ducal armies along the way. You didn't want them to get involved in the machinations of the dukes. You want to fight only for Victoria and for her people, like the legendary unit that you're named after. And so, I'm not here as a Duke of Gododin. I'm here as Sean Gododin, Member of Parliament, to extend an invitation to the Parliament authorized Tempest Platoon and the rest of the Exemplars. Leave the outdated identification code behind. I'm asking that you intervene in this war in the name of Parliament.
Uncle Sean, nah. The Exemplars is a cooler name. And we want the cooler name, Uncle. Sorry, not sorry, Uncle.
The miner's camp is burned to the ground. No sign of Sarkaz soldiers.
Misery feels a slight chill. The campsite's charred debris has cooled. He moves some collapsed wooden beams aside and finds a few unrecognizable bodies.
Miners. Remains of the infected. It's all the same everywhere. What's it sound?
More dudes with cool swords.
Nice hiding spot, Sudaram. Notchzera spotted to the northwest of Gibsonham. Out of comms range already. Death has you.
Several rune swords pierce out of the ground beneath Misery's feet, but he's no longer there. Misery rips through the fabric of space with his dagger and retreats out of range. The collapsed ruins turn into a cage, trapping the Notchzera's withered bodies.
Shush now. I have you too.
Misery's so cool.
Duke Gododin, I understand that the Victorian Parliament has not held a season for a long time. Everyone who escaped Londinium knows that the Sarkaz have been the ones giving the orders from the Palace of Westaleg during the time. Of course, I don't deny the present circumstances. Why don't we cast our gaze further, though, to the future beyond the war? The future? Isn't it a little too early to be bargaining over that, if bargaining and coercion were synonyms? You misunderstand me. Gododin is not caster. I would much prefer to sit by the fireside and then gather at the negotiation table. I'm more about drinking and playing cards with friends. It gets cold rather quickly once summer is gone. Mind if I have my men add some wood to the fire? You might as well have them come in. Thank you. That's much better. Where were we? Oh yes, the future. We know that the war will end, and Victoria will triumph. The war will inevitably bring, or should I say, has already brought about irreversible changes, ending a 20-year stalemate. If anyone in the room is interested in the empty throne, it certainly isn't me. Excellent, excellent, see? We already have a consensus. As a matter of fact, I held a little meeting not too long ago and saw that the Iron Duke in person. Seeing him as always reminds me of when I first saw the Gastro. Like so many other children who grew up hearing tales of the Empire's death knell, I searched for the shadow of the ruins that belonged to Lingonez, only to find not Gaul, but the glory of the strongest nation of our time, so splendid that I could not bear to turn away.
You want us to believe you care more about Victoria than Gododin?
Make no mistake, I would never call myself a patriot. A duke must always put his dukedom before all else. This is not just a matter of interest, but also a duty, a responsibility. But I wonder, what is the difference between Gododin and Wellington? Wellington would still be Wellington, with or without Victoria. But what would become of Gododin if the light of Victoria went out? Perhaps it would survive, but things would certainly not get better.
You don't want the Grand Dukes to really divide Victoria.
I'm not the only one. You know that. As strong as Victoria is, she is not without her rivals, Ursus, Lithuania, Columbia, Sargon. All the ambitious nations of Terra have their eyes on us. We need a single unified voice to bring stability. This is why Parliament exists. All ducal realms will select an appropriate representative, including Windermere. This is what the exemplars mean to Victoria. No soldier who fights for the cause of Victoria will need to fear betrayal again. The Speaker of Parliament has always been the king, for the entirety of the royal's existence, but that does not mean that he or she must sit on the throne. And this is what you can mean to all of us, your Royal Highness Alexandrina, if you are willing.
No one speaks as the Duke's words sink in. Only the crackling of the fire Gododin lit can be heard.
I have only one question for your grace. If all this could have waited until after the war, then if I refuse now, can my friends and I leave with the size of kings? Ha!
Siege. Crossbowmen outside. We're surrounded. Maybe already were the moment he showed up. Uncle, come on!
Well, well. First we learned what a commitment is to Castor. Now we learn what friendship is to Gododin. Friends treat each other as equals, do they not? My offer remains fair. At the minimum, I gave this young friend from Gododin the opportunity to point her pile driver spear at me.
Dang, Uncle. You ruined the moment. It started off so wholesome until he did a thing. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Now he's gonna get punched in the face. Lost the signal from drone 6 again. Blasted place. Alright, Balin. Ivarez, Victor. We have to do this manually. Status reports, everyone. All good here. The beacon's in there and the sensor's running. We're still getting strong interference from the wind and sand. I'm trying to filter out the noise. Waiting on you now, Victor.
5 minutes. The ground's softer than expected.
Careful, quicksand! The soil's very different from the samples we collected. I sent the data back. You got that, Captain? I knew it was a good idea to get you on board, Ivarez. Worth a few days of angry stares from Earth Spirit.
I think you can do with a better working environment closure. Try not to get too much sand in your mouth.
Sand, delicious. Nice and crunchy. Tasty minerals. Stop talking like a Mia, Balin. My blood is self-cleansing. Hey, don't just laugh at me. Keep working. The sooner we get the signal tower set up, the sooner we can broadcast the safe zone's locations. And the sooner you can go to town.
I'm trying. Rose Island equipment isn't like anything else I've seen. I'm already doing an exemplary job. Get it?
Seriously though, you and Rock shouldn't be here with me in the first place. You have my drones. Of course I'm staying here with them.
Well, that is a solid reason.
I know you're concerned about my safety, but I'm actually really strong. What's that? Those vampire worms would disagree. Well, not all vampires are built the same, you know. It's you two I'm worried about. Put your helmets on. Herpethy infection is no joke.
Alright. But you lot are the ones who need to be careful, running around the battlefield like this.
You lot?
Rhodes Island. You lot are all over the battlefield, not caring for your own safety at all. Balin isn't infected from Victoria. Yuvarius is infected, but not Victorian. Victor isn't infected or Victorian. How amazing!
Why? Everyone knows Rhodes Island operators come from everywhere. Heck, there's even gods on our side. We literally have the power of God and anime on our side. God and anime for the win.
I can't help but think of my granny, Covicia, plus Tommy and the gang. I once hoped that the Self-Salvation Corps could be as united as the Rhodes Island operators I'd seen.
Well, people aren't really born good or bad. As circumstances change, so do people. Maybe one day.
One day, the Self-Salvation Corps will become a tightly knit unit. Tightly knit, united group. Just like the Exemplars, now all fighting for the same thing. We're ready to brave the worst, ready to deal with defeat, even betrayal. But it's not necessarily a race, upbringing, or circumstances that will unite us, just like Rhodes Island.
Alright, enough with the compliments. I know you want to keep our equipment. Should I get you a contract now?
I'm not jealous of Rhodes Island, Miss Closure. You lot give me the same kind of feeling as this strange communication equipment you're holding. A possibility. Something that proves I'm not just a naive dreamer.
Wait. Maybe your monologue is starting to bother Closure-faced. What's that sound? Let me check the feed from Rock 18. In the monitor's pixelated image, a sandstorm approaches quickly. Catastrophe? But I don't see the data. Beneath the wild sands are tattered banners and the chanting of war. Ooh, ominous. Nachzerers. What are they doing here? Go. You two leave now. Everyone from the Self-Salvation Corps, head for Gibsonham, now. Oh no, more fancy sword boys. I still want those swords, they look so cool.
What's that sound? Swordcast, they're already here. Battle stations, open fire!
More swords, pretty swords.
Explosions?
Sir, the Sarkas are attacking the town. We have to leave now.
They found us quicker than we expected. Looks like the Sarkas remember the success they had with Amphiles. What are the attackers?
Nachzerer elite, sir.
Your Royal Highness, you and your people must leave this with us now. This town is not worth defending, but you and your friends are of paramount importance to the future of Victoria. Our battleships can take us back to the Silver Rock Bluffs front in 3 hours. That is where you belong.
Me or the sword? Sir, we don't have time.
You don't have time and you don't plan to fight, even though you know how many civilians there are.
But of course you wouldn't.
They're not important to you or the Parliament. These poor families wouldn't produce a single member of Parliament in 100 years.
There's no place for them in your game of cards.
I simply have my sights on reality, Your Highness.
Reality?
Reality that the future Victoria you dream of is to be found in grand halls filled with the noble coats of arms. My Victoria is here with these people.
Sir!
Very well, Your Royal Highness. You're like your father at times, naive, reckless.
Is that so? Not that I care. I don't remember anything about him.
Ha, very well. Good luck.
Horn, order all combat-ready personnel on the plate to their stations now. On it. Delphine, have Lieutenant Shearer get the logistics and medical staff ready. Already done. Follow the plan. Protect the civilians. Prepare for battle. You know, to an extent, it's kind of good that the Sarkas made their, or the Nachzera made their way there at this time. Because that forced the Duke to leave, and that's a good thing. It's like, oh, the Duke wants them to go along with his plan, but we don't want to go along with that plan. It's like, oh, thank you. Thank you for having a thing, so now he has to leave. Perfect timing for an invasion. Which is a very, very strange thing to say. But that is how it be. Like, honestly, great timing, sir. Great timing, dudes. Perfect timing. Wonderful timing. The bestest of timings. Okay, right there seems fine. Over here. Over here seems good too. Because why not? I should bring out a healer, you know, healing is good. Yep, so far so good. Whee! Go get him. I love how Susie's just constantly attacking that one thing. Ooh, hello, hello. Oh, yeah, for some reason the messages disappeared. I wonder why. Let me try. The last one I saw was when you put down use your Wizardell skill 3. Strange. Huh. I wonder why that's being bad now. Because everything should have been working decent. Why does the stuff have to hit? It was working so good earlier. I wonder if there's a way to fix that. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I just have to... Okay, if you're being there for the meantime. As long as that works. Gosh darn it. YouTube-kun, why are you acting up now? And nope, more enemies are appearing. Go get him, Susie. Go get him, Wizardell. And once they get in your range, go get him, Chen. That's right. Very, very nice. Oh, so it's kind of weird too. For some reason, my text box size didn't change. It's kind of bothering me. Wait, let me check my settings real quick. Chat settings. Because the scale should be different. Huh. Let me see. Don't mind me, I'm just gonna mess with some of my settings a little bit more. Why you be like this? Oi. Oi, oi, oi. Okay, copy. Okay, that's what it looks like. Let me check my OBS real quick too, just in case. Boop. Okay. Refresh. Okay, and then... Okay, we'll see what happens. Why is it still that size? The size should have changed. Let me try one more time for the size changing. It's like, hey you, why you act like this? Oopsies, wrong thingy. Okay. Scale. Even more scale. Lots and lots of scale. Let's see what happens when I make it the biggest scale. Oh, it looks cursed. Okay, a little bit less. Well, if it loads how it's supposed to load, that's what it can be like. Let's see how this is. That is the preview. Boop. And then if I refresh that. Boop. Okay. Ah, it is still the same. That bothers me. But ah well. As long as it kind of works, that's all good, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's wonderful. Everything should be fine, though, I hope. Yeah, I'm gonna believe it's kind of working, right? Should be. And if it's not working, then gosh darn it. Ba 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 ba. Oh well. Now let's go over here. Actually, I just realized something. Why is the VTube studio tracking kind of odd too? Ba ba ba. Man, why you gotta be acting up? Why is everything acting up? Oh well, you know, it is what it is right now. Dot 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 for reals. I think something's wrong with the diffractometer sensor. Nothing's wrong with it. You see, Victor? I'm getting the same results. It's not always the equipment's fault. They are not getting valid data. The data itself may exceed the scope. Originium reaction metrics are above the default limit. They're coming, guys. We have 3 minutes. Victor is the youngest of us. If nothing else, we should try to get him out. Who do you think was the reason that I signed up for the Londinium operation? Never could just do as you're told, could you? How are you doing over there, Closure? Still alive. I've got my drones and they're loaded with... I think I hear the sound of drones crashing. They used to be your babies. Haha. You knew it when you ordered the self-salvation course to pull out, didn't you? That was the last chance to escape. The Originium activity data is incomplete. I need data from all of you. Mia's not here, so you're my captain, Closure. We all talked to Mia before we came to Londinium. Stop a war and save both the Victorians and the Sarkas, with just a few of us. That's next to impossible. But I chose to trust all of you. Trust in the dream of Rhodes Island. There isn't a single Rhodes Island operator who doesn't want to see the day when there's a cure for apathy, when everybody's living a better life. Doesn't that sound ridiculous to most folks? My only regret about dying here is that I won't get to see that day. Aw. Did you get my data, Yviras? Yep. Just sent the newest batch of data over, Captain. Oh, and I'm not that selfless, so don't forget to put my name in when you publish your paper. Will do. Communication failure detected. Signal lost imminent. Importing energy fluctuation data. Initializing automatic analysis module. Catastrophe scale confirmed. Developing prediction model on Originium-induced environmental changes for the next 24 hours. Bzz. Captain, shield damaged. They're about to... Hang in there, Yviras. Not moving towards your position. Bzz. Bzz. Make it happen, Closure. I will. You better, Closure! Gosh darn it! The engineer's eyes are glued to the screen in front of her. Faster, faster. If they fail to compile the Originium activity data, then all the squad's efforts would be for naught. The din of war approaches. Only a few drones remain. She can feel the army's cold, freezing breath. Model successfully compiled. Outputting safe zone locations. Yes! All that's left is a signal tower.
Vampire, traitor. This war will go on and you will feed it.
Yikes. My drone! The Pseudoran's blade slices the hovering drone, sending it crashing to the ground. That was her last combat drone. Get out of the way!
Your arts are weak and pathetic. How could such a frail vampire exist?
Ouch! Searing pain erupts, and Closure feels the entire side of her body go numb. The breath of decay invades her. Closure can barely hold on to the signal tower. With great effort, she plants the complex equipment into the ground to lean on. Insufficient signal strength. Strong interference detected. Unable to broadcast safe zone location. Please follow the equipment manual. I know! Shut up! What kind of vampire are you, Closure? Close those wounds. Hang in there. Just a little longer. Just get this thing up right. Closure, no! She'll be fine, right? Sleeping in the corridors again? You'll catch a cold. Rhodes Island's basic functions are online. I think she's ready for a grand voyage. Thank you, Chief Engineer. You've delivered your promise. If you want to leave the ship and go back to Kazdal... Right. You told me before, you're not interested in that place. But at least promise me that you won't call yourself a talentless vampire anymore. You're the most talented person I've ever known, Closure. You're just different from other vampires. So here's my offer. As long as you still want to see the vast and unexplored parts of this land, we'll always be each other's companion. I can't. I won't. Won't let everyone down. And myself. Closure can feel the Pseudoram's cold grip close in around her neck. War has finally claimed her. No! Closure! Who? A survivor? Signal. There's a signal. A Rhodes Island signal. Grab my hand, Closure. Oh, it's Doberman. Doberman? Oh no, it's... Oh! I should have recognized Fang because I summoned her so many times. It's me. Can you stand? Fang.
You.
A dagger pierces the Pseudoram's chest, causing a massive burst of energy.
Sorry I'm late.
Misery gave us the location. More coming. Almost got it. Cover me. Keep him away. Ooh, pretty. What is her mission? When Closure first joined Rhodes Island, then known as Babel, she asked many operators this question. She got different answers every time. Some dreams are big, others less so. Some gave details, others mumbled, scratched their heads, and gave an abashed smile. But there comes a time when they all have the same expression. And a time when they all make the same choice. Almost there. This is the last one. Core module online. Communications restored. We're coming, Closure. Hang in there.
We sent your location to the Exemplars. Help is on the way.
Finally.
Closure? Closure, are you okay?
She's just taking a victory nap, that's all. She's fine. Maybe.
Keep your distance. Cover the artilleries and the crossbowmen. The appearance of the Notchzerers is closely linked to catastrophes. Do not fear their witchcraft. However bizarre it is, it's still arts. Remember how we marched through a catastrophe? We survived a catastrophe. We'll survive the sarcasm. Bagpipe.
I am here.
The Duke of Gododin spoke the truth. Tempest Platoon is under the direct authority of the Parliament. We have an obligation to answer Parliament's call. It's a more legitimate cause for action than the Duke's invitation. Not to mention that by accepting his invitation, you, Robin, and everyone who came with us because they had no choice, will have proper identities.
Identity? Did you forget, Captain? I'm retired anyways. Besides, in that standoff with the Duke earlier, you didn't hesitate to put your shield in front of Siege.
True.
Where is Siege's carrion the size of kings? Have you seen it before, Captain?
I have. Siege was right. It's just a piece of metal that happens to mean something to some people. Troops approaching on our flank. No ID code, but I recognize them. They're the Duke of Gododin's men. They've engaged the Sarkaz and covered one of our squad just now. Good. If that's Gododin's way of showing us friendship, then we'll show him the same in return. Attention exemplars, stand with the soldiers of Gododin. Not one step backward until the last foe is vanquished.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, that's nice. He actually sent some of his men to help. So he's not entirely a scummy uncle. The ship has reached cruising speed, sir. We're out of danger for now.
Good. The Sarkaz's witchcraft is most peculiar indeed. Best to fake a moment of vulnerability, than to have them constantly harassing our rear.
The leader of the Notch-Sarers has not been sighted, nor any other known powerful Sarkaz.
I suppose they don't see Gododin as nearly as the threat that Windermere or Wellington are. I could call that a relief.
The size of kings has not left Gibsonham, sir. Should we move on to the next phase?
What do you think of them?
More of a challenge than expected. Alexandrina's forces are growing, and they are more organized and effective than we thought.
Oh, I don't mean as an adversary. The exemplars, like you said, they look the part, and they've worked well enough with the troops that we left behind. Rita's with them, and looks more like the legendary White Wolf than her father ever did. And Windermere isn't quite as weak as the intel had her. Maybe it's not such a joke after all, that those kids could become the exemplars.
Aw, he actually seems proud of them. Duke of Gododin, maybe you're fine after all. Maybe. Maybe, just maybe. Do you intend to abandon the plan for us to escort the Realm Blade then?
Abandon, such a strong word. It is the future that Gododin values. Alexandrina, the size of kings, the exemplars, even Rhodes Island. Perhaps we'll cross paths again on our way to the future.
He just wants to be on the winning side. He's like, I care about the future, so I'm gonna side with the side who's winning. And if they seem like they're willing, that they could do a thing, then of course I'm gonna side with them. Only if they can pass my test. Here are some of my men. Do what you see fit with them. Our tanks are fighting the last pocket of Sarkaz to the east side of town. We've successfully defended Gibsonham. It will serve as a supply point on the way to Silver Rock Bluffs. However, the terrain has changed. The environment around Londinium is constantly changing because of Omnanam's influence. Fissures, cliffs, and rapids should not have been there are emerging everywhere. Silver Rock Bluffs is almost constantly under severe catastrophe. It's hard to say where our foot will land when we put it forward. I wouldn't have believed this was our Londinium if I had anything less than absolute faith in Rhodes Island's data. The sun in the meadow is summery warm, filling our home with euphoria. After this war, we might have to change our national anthem's lyrics. Is this the time to be having a laugh? You wanted to say, we'll think about it after we take it back, don't you? But even if we really went back, would our home ever return to the way it was? That's why we're not just going to win this war. We're not going to let the Sarkaz destroy Londinium in the war. We'll overcome the storm ahead. And we won't abandon the home that the storm has ravaged. Face told me that his squad picked up more distress signals nearby. There may be more lives saved yet. The areas where fighting occurred with the Notch-Sarers will need to be cleaned up. Rhodes Island operators will provide the usual assistance. I want the exemplars to work with them on these post-combat affairs. Establish supply lines, rescue and transfer the injured, and rally those who want to join us. So far, so good. The troops who returned from the front line have assembled. Counting in Gododin soldiers who had their IDs wiped, the exemplars have far exceeded the scale of a regiment. They want to join us. I met with their officers. They said that the Duke of Gododin left before they could board the transports. Preliminary screening indicates that all of them are infected. Sounds familiar, eh? The Duke of Gododin left his infected soldiers behind, just like the other dukes. Or maybe he intentionally picked a bunch of soldiers who had unfortunately gotten infected and sent them over to us. I suspect he has ulterior motives. The performance of those infected troops indicates that they are different from those we've seen before. I wouldn't call them stragglers. If Gododin's intention is to keep an eye on us, then we should probably try to lose these people, or at least separate them tactically. No. You know the Dukes better than I, Delphine. There's a very good chance that you're right. But right now, there's nothing we need more than unity. Even if the exemplars chose which parts of Victoria they united,
What would happen to the future that we dream of?
Godin very likely knew that we couldn't reject those men. That's why he let us leave. That's why he let us leave so easily.
Then we need to be ready. This is not the first challenge we've had to overcome, nor will it be the last.
Yep, it's a test. It's a test on him.
Sarkaz, Omnanam, Castor, the Dukes. It's not just one storm that the exemplars will have to weather.
I'll let the lieutenants Shira know. To be honest, everyone's happy to get some new blood.
Plus, they're all infected. If it's really true that Godin has not abandoned them, that in itself is worth celebrating. Perhaps the unity that once seemed impossible is actually within reach.
Chen will also be in Londinium. Ooh, that's gonna be fun. Chen is a true warrior. It's a miracle to run into people like you.
We're not the miracle, ma'am. You are, all of you, for being strong until the very end.
Thank you so much, regardless. I can still move. Let me help you with the others. This way, you can get some rest. You're not much older than my own child, now that I get a better look at you.
We have about 10 minutes of rest before we head to the next location. Closure?
A little more time.
There's not much room for improvement on that art scene that you're holding. Even Rydian and the mechanics could hardly do better.
Conditions will only get worse, Amir. The better I do, the safer you guys will be.
Thanks. Rescue work around Gibsonham is complete. Next, we'll be going to where your squad signal was lost.
I see.
We'll find them alive or otherwise. Even if they're buried in sand or orginium, there will be traces. We'll find them and bring them home.
I know how I feel, but Fang, I want to hear your thoughts too. Is it regrettable for a Rhodes Island operator to die in a war between the Sarkaz and the Victorians, when they have nothing to do with either side of the war?
Any sacrifice is regrettable. After Ace died, Beagle cried for many nights with his shield in her arms.
Oh, Beagle.
Why him? Why there? Why then?
I get that feeling too, every single time. But what I really want to know is, how do the people who sacrificed feel?
I'm sure they have their own regrets. We're none of us saints. That's why we fear death. That's why you feel pain over your decision. But I have no regrets about participating in this operation. If not for Lava, Hibiscus, or our other Sarkaz friends, then at least for the people here, even though I don't know any of them. It was a catastrophe that brought me from Columbia to Rhodes Island. That catastrophe taught me one thing, that suffering does not discriminate. I came here today because I know that you will come when my home needs help, when the people I care about needs help.
You're right. We'll be there. We, Rhodes Island. You know something? I've been addicted to the web since a very young age. Same. Because that's the only place I knew without segregation. The other vampire children and I, vampires and the other Sarkaz and everyone else, catastrophe, nations, class, disease. It was Teresa who took me from the confines of my home and showed me another possibility. A ship that sails the waves of disaster, rescues those who are suffering, and fosters companionships beyond personal interest. Sounds surreal, huh? But the road that Rhodes Island has traveled thus far is very real. I'll continue to analyze the anomalies caused by Omnanam. I also want to hear your answer to my question. Kelsey's and the doctor's too. This data belongs to Yaviris, to Balin, to Victor, to Rhodes Island. One day, it may belong to everyone. I believe they'll be fine. Hopefully. Come on, power of friendship. Time for the cave search. Oh, that's a lot of land that is dangerous to step on. Okay, I will see how this goes. This'll be fine. Yeah, fine. Maybe. Fine enough. Right? Well, let me check something real quick. Let me just see if my settings are still okay. Please, still be fine. Okay, looks like it should still be fine, so... Abandoned mansion, Londinium outskirts.
Is she back? Not yet. Damn, it was hard enough dodging those devils. How did she survive and even find us? How the heck did she know that I did business with the devils? Well, consider that business deal lost. What about you? How'd she get you? She held a crossbow to my head. I knew her from before. She didn't used to be so...
Didn't used to be so what?
Go on. No, I didn't.
The soldier, who has served the dukes all his life, lies on the ground, a crossbow pointed at his forehead. The voice of the one holding the crossbow is cold as ice.
I'm waiting. I just... sorry, Milscar. I shouldn't have. Ah!
The bolt pierces his ear.
Some people punch holes in their pets' ears as a sign of ownership. A man is not a pet, of course, but sometimes they're not so different, are they? Now get back up and give me a status report. Have you done what I've asked of you? Yes, ma'am. Well, the reception at the monitoring station was really bad, so even though we tried to gather as much information as possible... Skip to the conclusion. Based on what little information the Trophy Asher left behind, and the occasional intercepted comms, we can confirm that a unit called the Exemplars has been formed, and its leader is most likely the one you spoke of, Vina. They seem to be headed for the front at Silver Rock Bluffs. Silver Rock Bluffs. They're really staying in this war. Keep at it. Notify me of any new developments. Yes, ma'am.
It would be cool if it would have been Allerdale. Any similarities? Well, they both have whitish hair. And they're both intimidating, so that'd be the only similarities, really.
Phew. Well, this is easier than expected. I thought it'd be tougher. No scruples, no acts to put up. I found Victoria.
Ooh. A red light flashes a few times in the deep shadows.
Isn't it your job to protect her?
"43 hours into the operation.
I knew you'd come. Ursula.
The Mad Bomber W came once to set up the prison. Ines came twice to show compassion. Same old Ines, always a tad slow with her retort when she's focused on someone else's shadow. Now it's you. What have you come to say?
Have you thought it over?
That's my line. Your situation is perilous. Your only vehicle lies disabled. As a pilot, I'm very likely to know something that you don't, and probably am waiting for the right time to strike. Really, you should kill me, Holderer.
I would rather you helped us with that, you know. With what you know.
In your dreams. I already turned you down once. You give me too little credit if you think I would change my mind just because I'm a prisoner.
3 times.
What?
You saved our lives 3 times back in Casdell. My life once, Ines' life twice.
You wrote all that in your diary?
Name your price. I'll do my best to pay it.
You'll go bankrupt if you quit the mercenary life to open a business.
I just want as many Sorkas to make it back to Casdell alive as possible.
Such grand ambitions. But enough chit-chat. Let the old rules of the Scar Market lie buried beneath Casdell. Our debt is settled. One last warning, Holderer. Kill me now, or you'll regret it.
Did it ever occur to you that we both want the same thing?
Enough of your righteous crap. Don't try to buy my life with your flowery words, old friend. They're not much better than money. A mercenary takes no sides, but you and I aren't really mercenaries anymore. Come on, Ursula, join us. You know you wanna join us. Wanna bet, Ines? Holderer's gonna try talking Ursula into helping for old time's sake at the Scar Market. Ursula's gonna tell him to just get it over with, and Holderer's gonna come back with a long face. What's the wager? That's it? I figure you'd be jealous with the two of them all alone in a room together. W. Stop trying to read my shadow, Inez. I'm not in the mood. The Bunny and the Victorian have been gone for a while. Wonder how things are going out there. Bonesy's still playing dead, and Teresa's catastrophe refuses to go away. Who knows, maybe Manfred's gonna just pop out of nowhere. I could have blown Teresa's up right then and there. I know you're restless because of Teresa, but hold the fuse for a moment. We have a lot of prep work to do. Sarkis swearing. Who said I was?
We've got a problem, W.
Out with it.
It's time for a shift change, but not all of our scouts came back. Crane's team went off to the north side of the canyon, and we can't reach them.
Don't tell me that you ran to a decent enemy caster.
When was your last communication? Almost 3 hours ago.
If our enemy could make an entire merc squad disappear without a sound, they would have been on top of us by now. The most important thing to do at the moment is to keep the lifeboat safe. We're just gonna sit here when we know something's going on outside.
I agree with Inez. We know nothing about this place. The safest course of action is to concentrate our forces.
Cut the crap. My men are missing. I wanna know why. If they got lost, I'll bring them back. If somebody did them in, I'll return the favor. Calm down. This could be a trap to split us up. I don't like playing defense. Even if it's a trap, I'll just blast it out of hiding. Give me half a day. If I don't come back, that means I'm up against a real nasty piece of work. Don't come after me. Get your defenses ready. If you get a call from Mia, don't wait for me. Just activate the lifebone. I'll take my own squad. We don't need to bother anyone else. You lot, grab your weapons and follow me. Aw, W cares about her boys. Is this where they went?
Should be. This cave was all we saw when we went to the north of the canyon. We went north into the canyon. We don't know what's inside.
Ah, no wonder this is called the cave.
Hidden passage? The court's secret cache?
If this was a secret base of the royal court, we'd have had a couple hundred vampires and notched Xeris on our asses the moment we fell in here. Based on Closure's intel, we're in the hills of the west of Londinium, a good distance from the main battlefield where those old farts are. Somehow, though, I smell the old moldy stench from someone who's been here for ages. I don't like old stuff, but I'm sure Hoderer would love it. Let me guess. What enemy did our lucky winners run into?
W. When did you use your bombs?
You delusional? Did you see me use them on our way here?
Then what are these burn marks on the wall?
Huh? Strange, no signs of arts. But how do you leave marks like these on stone then?
Did you hear that?
What is it this time?
It's the sound of someone striking iron. There's somebody here.
You're just hearing things. Stop spooking yourself. Nobody's here.
Do we keep going, W? I have a bad feeling about this.
Of course. Why do you think we're here? That's top-grade gear you're all using. I'm not rich enough to just let them rot in some cave.
Have you heard the Sarkis legend? Before Tuilon was ever born, the Sarkis and a red dragon.
Shut up. One historian in Hoderer is enough. Say any more, and I'll throw you to the front.
What is it?
Blood, but not Sarkaz. It's fresh. Get ready to fight! Cave beastie? Roar! Cave beast? Ooh! Is it actually a dragon? Are we here to slay a dragon? Well, I'll find out soon enough. Which direction will you be going, sir? I'm getting my defenses ready. Kind of, sort of, not really. This be fine. Yeah, this be fine. I'm putting out a healer first just in case. Because I like being healthy sometimes. Only sometimes being healthy is nice. Okay, over there seems good. And then next time I will change W skill. I just want to go into the cave, that's why. Okay, so far so good. No fear, no fear. And then over here seems decent. Actually, wait, let me stare a tiny bit. Yeah, it's fine. Kind of, sort of, not really, but fine indeed. Or fine enough. Okay. I am happy he's a ground enemy because if he wasn't, that would be kind of bad. But then again, Thorns and Silver Ash and Susie and Wizardell, they got this. They're great. But they are floating there menacingly. Which to an extent is adorable. Go get him! Go, go, go! Okay. Hello, hello. How am I? Pretty good. I just have to fix a few more scuff issues, since I'm not sure why some things are still acting up. Very, very strange. Very, very strange indeed. Let me just check some stuff too real quick. Every so often I gotta make sure it's all working good. At least I hope it works good no matter what. Since I had to reset my computer earlier today to make sure my sound would work, because for some reason it broke after all my updates. But now it should be fine, methinks. And if not, biggest of oofs. But right now, yeah, it seems decent. Kind of, sort of. Except for OBS acting up a tiny, tiny bit. Just the tiniest of bits. Hopefully all the scuff is gonna give me extra gacha luck. I would love that. I would appreciate that. A lot. A latte. And now, just checking out one more thing. Okay. Okay, it looks decent. Channels. Yeah. Strange howl. I believe it be a firefly. Literally, it's a fly on fire.
Our weapons don't work. The thing just won't die.
Aim for its head. We'll see how many hits it can take.
It's too fast. We can't hit it. Draw its attention. I'll try to hit it from behind.
Well, that's not fair. It's broken. It's a broken enemy. The mercenary attempts to go around the monster, but one swing at its tail sends him slamming into a rock wall.
Ouch.
None of the attacks seem to have caused any real damage. It flaps its wings, and scorching winds engulf the cave, making the air even thinner. Ooh, enjoy your rest. The ground quakes, and the spikes erupt from under the earth, hurtling towards everyone.
Shut up. I said shut it, you short-legged moth.
Song like cry! The monster immediately locks onto where the damage came from, surprisingly agile for its size. In the brief time it takes W to reload, the monster has already closed the distance, its fangs nearly grazing her face. I don't know how you got that ugly mug, but you'll need a bigger one to eat me. Chew this instead, sucker!
Huh. Is it dead?
Hard to live with a big hole in its face, eh?
Are you okay?
I've always been good at blast control.
I got a theory, W. There might just be a lost Sarkaz court called Bomb Fiend or something, and you're its last princess.
I like this guy's headcanon. His theory is good. I appreciate that. Very funny.
But what the hell is this? Doesn't look like any animal I've ever seen. I heard that some of those Colombian crazies sold parts of different animals together. Maybe this is their doing?
Unfortunately, I know a bunch of Sarkas crazies who do the same thing. Under her breath, it reeks of witchcraft, confiscarius monsters, wild here in the middle of nowhere. Oh, so confiscarius is doing. Them being here is no coincidence. There must be something else in the cave.
Did this thing eat our guys?
The only way to find out is to cut it open. We're sure it's dead, right? Poke poke. Ah! There's more! Damn, this thing had friends?
They blocked the entrance. What do we do? Run.
Uh-oh, how many of them are there? 48 hours into the operation. What time is it?
Would it mean anything to you?
Call it a professional habit. I feel better when I know what the time is. What time it is?
6 p.m. 2 days since we crashed into the canyon.
2 days. Enough to do a lot of things. Do you remember, Holderer? The three of us were on a mission to steal a Sargonian Pasha's treasure. We got the treasure, but also 100 or so people on our tails. We hid in a cave for 2 whole days. We were starving, but we were too afraid to light a fire or leave.
It was Enos who stitched your wounds up. You wouldn't have made it otherwise.
Huh, I said, the sun's almost up. Just let me bathe in the sun for a little bit, and I'll feel much better.
I must have stopped you. There were enemies outside. We couldn't risk exposing ourselves.
No, you didn't stop me. Enos teased me. She found it hilarious that the Scar Market merc would miss the sun.
Sure, the Scar Market is under Casdo and never sees the sun.
I became the pilot of Skeleton when I joined the military commission staff as a major. When I took the young ones back and forth between Casdo and Londinium, it was like we had to outrun the sun. We had outrun the sun. I can't go back. None of the Sarkas can.
Ursula? What's going on?
They're here.
The skeleton is moving.
For a moment, the Fernwood skeleton seems to be moving, but Holderer soon realizes it's not the nerve clusters or bones that are moving.
Nails.
The ship and pilot have always been one. Lifebone is never merely composed of the Fernwood skeletons. Rows of long nails are fixed to the massive frame, assembling it into a transport ship. One of them, infused with her arts, pierces through the critical section of the spinal column. She and the skeleton have always linked by witchcraft. The arts of the Royal Court's casters have connected to the skeleton. I can sense it. No need to be anxious. It's not going to wake up yet. But this little bit of connection, and what remains of the Fahrenmut's powers on this knell, are enough for me to get out of here. This knell belongs to me. It's linked to my bones. I'm taking it with me. What happens when a Fahrenmut's powers are applied directly to the human body? It's not so bad to cut loose once in a while, just like the old days.
The spine is cracking. No!
I told you, Holderer, that you regret not killing me. Or would you say that this is just another inevitable chapter of history? Holderer, you gotta work on your talk no jutsu. Holderer thrusts his giant sword into the space of the missing nail, barely in time to hold the critical section in place. But even in this fleeting moment, it's enough for his prisoner to escape her chains. Ursula leaps through the crack in the ribs, disappearing into the fire along with the bone and damaged nerve tissue.
Ursula!
Ursula, the hero drifting among the shards of history, always trying to save others. Have I ever told you that the name suits you better? But that's not his name right now, so oh well. Angry roar!
How many of them are there? It's a dead end. It's a dead end head.
I wasn't planning to escape from the front. I just needed space for my bombs. Get down.
Are... are they dead?
Let's hope the rocks I brought down were enough to crush their skulls.
What are they doing here? Are they protecting something?
How am I supposed to know? Do you seriously believe I can talk to monsters?
So, I guess we really did find something incredible. It's too bad Crane's team got eaten by these things. Not all of us.
You're alive. What the hell happened?
We found a cave on patrol and decided to check in for any potential secret passages. That's when we ran into these monsters. Tire, Buckler, and Nuts got eaten. The rest of us ran for our lives. For some reason, the monsters wouldn't come this way, but we couldn't get out either, so we were stuck in here. Until you showed up.
Bloody hell. I'll skin those things and have Inez make clothes out of them. Making clothes out of them. Maybe we should give them to the monster hunter cats instead, the felines. What did you find inside?
Not much. I left markers on the way if you want to see for yourself. Go that way, past a few masked bodies, then take the right fork.
Masked bodies?
A few skeletons that have been there for years. Must have run away from Londinium a few years ago. The strange thing is, they all cut their own horns off.
Masked bodies. Severed horns?
Their heads are all wrapped up. Maybe some tribal tradition?
Shit! Either you're going crazy or I am.
Old enemies? Don't worry, they're very dead.
Take me there now. Oh, is it those guys? Those assassins?
This is the place. What's the matter, W? I've never seen you like this before.
Shut up. Several bodies lean against the wall. W bends down and examines them meticulously.
There's nothing left but bones. All death by severe injuries. No question about that. Looks like someone tended to their bodies after death. Maybe they're friends, but it's been years, judging by the dust. There's a small altar in the corner. No signs of witchcraft. So I think it's purely for memorial purposes.
Are these all of them? Why? Why would those assassins be here? Only these? No others?
What do you mean? Are there supposed to be others? W. Hey, W. What is it this time? What's going on? Assassins? She said that these were assassins? W, hold up. Wait up. We checked the surrounding areas. There's nothing else suspicious.
I recognize their outfits. These traitors. They should all have been dead by now. If they're here, that means... No. No, this can't be. That's ridiculous.
W, I heard that Her Highness Teresa's body was stolen from Babel.
Don't ask me. How am I supposed to know?
The next time Teresa appeared after the attack on Babel was in Londinium. We're close to Londinium.
Shut up. I know that.
What do we do now? Should we...
Go back and tell Inez to be on maximum alert. She'll take care of the rest. As for me, humph. I'm going to clean up loose ends.
This is meaningless, mercenary. I see no reason for us to fight. The war is over. Whether we live or die is inconsequential to this outcome.
You don't get to talk about meaning. Her blood is still in your hands. You and your accomplices, anyone still alive. I'll find all of you. You can run and you can hide, but I'll find you and tear you apart bone by bone.
I know my sins better than anyone. I would have ended my own life even if I hadn't run into you today. Go on, do it. If it quells your worthless anger. But you're too late, mercenary. You couldn't save her.
Shut the... I've made many mistakes in my life, but in this one thing, there's no way I could have erred. I killed all the traitors. I remember exactly how each one died, even the expressions of their faces as they went. But why did these scums die here? Kelsey said that the confessary resurrected her. Why did they need a living, breathing Teresa? Is there more to it than Teresa's plan for the leadership of the Sarkas? Teresa's confessary, I couldn't care less about whatever schemes you're plotting, but you desecrated someone you should never have. Which is why I'll kill you all, if it's the last thing I do. Just what the hell is this place? What's this door doing here? Out of my way. What is this? What the heck is this? A strange sight indeed. The narrow passage opens into a vast, shadowy cavern. Untouched by sunlight, the chilling cave is strewn with dusty weapons and armor. The space is dotted with bizarre crystals. Massive patterns, reminiscent of eerie symbols, stretch ominously from the walls down to the ground. W is overcome by an unsettling sensation, as though it is not she who gazes upon the vast underground structure, but the other way around. Clank. A blunt sound echoes through the cave. Clank, clank. W recognizes it as the sound of bones being crushed by a heavy object.
Who goes there?
That is a fancy, fancy mask. Also, they're probably terrifying. If they live in a cave like this with fireflies, then they must be built different. Field of Vision. Oh, not too scary, that map. Not too scary at all. Oops. There. Third skill, I remembered. Brain worked. Doo-doo-doo-doo. It's not too surprising though how caring Wizardelle is. She's adorable. She's precious. Like, clearly she is caring. Like, based on how she reacted about Teresa. If she acted that way about others too. Understandable. The power of friendship is strong on her side. And ooh! Yay! Hopefully I have to destroy that dude. And ooh! Thank you for the gotcha luck. Oh man, I just noticed that now. OBS-kun's being strange, so I see things late. Gosh darn it. I gotta fix everything later. But for now, it's semi-working. Kind of, sort of, not really, but slightly. Now away we go. I gotta try that other mode later. W's a good leader. I like how caring she is.
Paprika! Paprika!
Hey, stay still.
Let's run for it.
What are you talking about?
Haven't you noticed? The mercenaries under the W are all gone. The military commission's troops must have arrived.
All the more reason not to run around and get caught in the crossfire.
Don't forget it was the military commission that hired us. If they've come, it's courteous for the guys here. If we make a run for it now, we could still explain things to the General Manfred.
You want to go back to him? He'll just send you back to Victoria to kill more people. Is that what you want?
You think we had a choice? What do you think the General will do to us when he finds out that we surrendered? I'll run errands if they tell me to run errands, and I'll kill if they tell me to kill. Whatever it takes to survive. You want to stay, that's your choice. I'm going, goodbye.
Well... 50 hours into the operation. Aren't you the lucky one, Major Ursula? It's not every day that you get to lose a critical objective, be captured by the enemy, and still make it back in one piece. Looks like you got along well with your old Scar Market buddies. Watch your tone notch, Sarah. It's not your place to judge my failure.
Regardless of the circumstances, Major Ursula's survival is good news for the military commission.
General Manfred, I
know about the Sanguinar's death. You can explain later. As for now, I hope you return with something of value.
I have the skeleton's location, and details about the mercenaries guarding it. And that's all. Sounds like it would have been more worth it if you'd stayed in the hands of those mercenaries.
I want to hear what you think.
The mercenaries are trying to reawaken the Farinmut skeleton. Whatever their plans are, it has something to do with them. I don't know what they're plotting, but they don't have a lot of people guarding the skeleton for some reason.
Is Hodor among them?
Yes.
Surround the canyon. Take back the spine no matter the cost.
Yes, sir. General Manfred, for the upcoming battle.
You won't be needed. Stay in the rear.
Yes, sir. As a precaution, may I ask, what are your plans if we're unable to take back the skeleton quickly?
I don't enjoy such hypotheticals, Ursula. Manfred's troops are here. They're a little earlier than expected.
What about the royal court's men? Nothing from Ursula?
She got away. It's my fault.
We'll talk about this later.
Where's W?
She went out to scout the battlefield. Worst case scenario, she'll run into the enemy before we do.
If Ursula got back to Manfred, they may have information on our current location and defenses.
We're significantly outnumbered. A prolonged fight doesn't favor us.
It's been 50 hours since the doctor's team set out. Any news?
Nothing.
We have to hold on to the agreed time.
Given our odds, the only way to hold off the military commission for a day is if they were struck by a catastrophe. But as things stand, even catastrophes are at their command. The military commission won't let this weapon fall into our hands and threaten the aerial supremacy. They'll come at us with everything they have.
We'll have to take the chance.
What do you mean?
The chance that Manfred doesn't want to destroy the skeleton either.
I hope you really know Manfred as well as you think you do. One last question. What happens if we don't get word from the doctor when the agreed time has passed?
Then we abandon the skeleton. There's no point fighting to the death. Evacuation comes first. Our main priority is always to keep as many people alive as we can.
Reasonable. No objections.
There's another way that might delay the Royal Court's attack. Killing their commander. Ascalon. Agreed.
I'll kill him. Well, goodbye, Manfred. Goodbye, Manfred. It's freezing. I don't want to admit it, but I can feel my heart race. Damn, stop trembling! It's just like the time when I had to face Halula alone. No, even worse. Oh, hello. Yeah, I'm wondering about the chat box. For some reason, it's not showing the other comments. It was showing earlier, but now it's acting up. I gotta check my settings later. I don't think I can change my settings right now until, like, after end stream, which is sad. The strange figure must be the master of those monsters in this realm. Yet I sense no hostility from him. It's as if my presence is not worth his attention. He just keeps hacking at the crystallized bones with his axe without even looking my way. Did he kill all these people? I have my finger on my trigger, but I can't move an inch. Pull yourself together, W. Haven't you seen your fair share of monsters by now? Find out who he is and what this coward has to do with Teresa. Pry it out of his mouth, if that's what it takes. Alright, I don't have time to waste it on you. You sorry piece of wood. I have a few questions, and your answers will decide whether my next move is to throw bombs at your face or not. This is a Confessorius altar. Are you Confessorius? Clank, clank. The relentless and haunting sound of axe striking bones echoes through the cavern. As if it's carrying the weight of eras forgotten, he slowly opens his mouth to speak.
I am a servant of Chu Sardusta, the king of Sarkaz. The bloodline of the king perseveres through life and death. If he who serves the king of Sarkaz is a Confessorius, then a Confessorius I am.
So you can talk. I'll give you a chance to introduce yourself before I shoot. What is this place? What does it have to do with the Confessori?
Cha, Lidkoa, the key. But this place opens no door, not anymore. Now I'm merely the warden of this deep, dark tomb.
What are you talking about? A tomb for who?
The countless heroes of Casdell, and the foes who died at their hands. The Gravebearer, the Magnificent Eight, the Brave 11, all have fallen in the course of history, and I have buried many of them. Here lies their weapons and armor, remnants of the past.
You must be joking. You knew all those people? Don't tell me. You're as ancient as that old hag. I don't know why you old freaks keep clinging to the past. Are you going to let yesterday's bad jam stop you from eating today? Okay, I need to workshop that.
Many emerge from the epoch of heroes, becoming the new hope of the Sarkaz, time and time again, but all of them failed, joining the ashes and dust in his tomb. You stand upon the sword of Chulon, the wrathful cerulean flame. Teresa's left it here because he refused to use it. Still, it is not proper to step upon it.
Chulon? Isn't he a character in the myths and legends? You're not playing me for a fool, are you? Damn, I took a step back without even realizing it. Why should I believe him? And why shouldn't I step on Chulon's sword, even if it was real?
I've answered your questions. Now you shall answer mine. Why do you trespass upon this place?
Clank. The axe swings again. The shockwave almost makes W take another step back. I'm here to pick a fight with the commissary. What's the altar used for? Tell me or else.
The mission of this altar is ended. No one visits this place anymore, except fools who stumble upon it.
That strange fellow answered all my questions with a flat interest. Clearly, he'd rather return to his work with the axe than engage with me. I lashed out at him, but my anger was met with no response. It's like throwing stones into a bottomless pit. What did he mean? It's not with the commissary? Shouldn't he have come after me with his axe the moment the words left my mouth? Hey, I'm talking to you! The smoke clears, but the gaunt figure remains upright. I didn't think I could take him out with a single bomb, but seriously, not even a scratch?
Futile. This vessel will never change again.
I like how he's just like, meh. He's like, whatever, I'm just gonna answer you because I feel like it. And your bomb, that bomb was like nothing to me.
A failed vessel that has been denied both eternal life and as the instrument of the crown's coming, and the sweet release of death.
So you're one of the confiscary's failed experiments too? You feel bad for yourself. I could free you from your suffering.
It is but futile.
The man swings his stone axe and bats away W's bomb, as though swatting away a fly. Good. I gotta respond to him. That means there's a chance. 3, 2... The bomb falls exactly where I expected it to. A section of the cavern collapses, trapping him beneath, but not enough to kill him. I point my gun at his head. You said the confiscary made you indestructible. Let's see if I can blow a hole in your brain at this range. The confiscary like their experiments, don't they? Did you guys make those big-head moths? Disgusting den of monsters. Cut the poetry and answer my questions. Did you know Teresa?
The exiled one has had the honor of seeing the King of Sarkaz. This is where the tragic king was reborn.
This is the place. How do they do it?
The confiscary brought the king's bloodied body back, and cut her soul from the myriad, but she was already entwined within the myriad, and could no longer exist as herself.
W turns toward the altar in the center of the cavern. The menacing building looks unnerving and smells faintly of blood. What had happened here? I dare not think about it, but I can't stop myself. Why?
The present of Sarkaz needed her to die. The future of Sarkaz needed her to live. As the king of Sarkaz, she gave her all, her spirit and her wisdom, her blood and her bone. You followed the king's path as her former subject, but she is no longer the one you knew. I saw her awakening, the sorrow on her face. I saw the weight on her soul, her eternal torment.
Enough. Shut up.
She was a sacrifice to the myriad souls, to Kazdel, to all the past and future Sarkaz.
I said, shut up. I've had enough. Kelsey, Doctor, Teresa, all of you. All of you have your big dreams and ambitions. You talk about doing great things. But did it change anything in the end? People keep dying. The people who should die, the people who shouldn't, and the people who really shouldn't. And you won't even let her have a final rest. To hell with the myriad souls and the suffering of those Sarkaz. Why should a person have to bear all this burden? All of you can go to hell. I'll blow this place, the place of her desecration, to oblivion. Huh. Huh. Dust fills the entire cavern. The decrepit ornaments lie in the ruins, yet the explosions are not enough to quench your anger. In the deepest reaches of the cavern, a lone altar resembling a door remains. What is this? Your Highness? W pushes the door open. What's behind the door? Dang, though, the Kappa series has been doing lots of mad experiments there. I do think it's funny, though, how unbothered that one dude is. He is the most chill out of everyone. Completely unbothered by everything. He's just like, eh. This is how things be. And oh, this is fine. Completely fine. Totally fine. Fine as it can be, really. Okay. Keep on doing a thing. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. 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 So incredibly fine. Nope, not there. And there's decent. Yeah. We'll get that side. Then we'll get this side. Wait. Yeah, that's fine. Hello. He might as well use her skill now. Oh yeah, explosions! Explosions of life. Alrighty. Let's just play Silver Ash there to assert dominance. Why not? All the dominance asserting. Okay, come on, other enemies. You know, you want to come out already? Nice. Very, very nice. So far, so good. I like how flashy Wizardel's skill is. So maybe I put her in the wrong area because she keeps attacking the altar thing. Okay. Found you.
Crazy. You're crazy, just like you said.
I'm glad you already know. Then you must also know what I do to those who won't tell me what I want to know. Now talk. What are you people planning around Casdell? What's behind this overly simple operation? Don't act like I'm stupid just because I don't care about all this ins and outs of Teresa's giving up Casdell.
You didn't break free of my witchcraft. How long do you think you can last?
Until you beg for death on your knees and spit out everything you know.
Ha! Mercenary. You think you're the special one that gets to live. Everyone does until death finally comes for them. Death forgets no one. The myriad souls are waiting. You won't escape, and neither will she. It's all futile.
What about you?
Me? I'm happy to embrace my death. Say goodbye to weakness, Sarkaz. A new era has dawned. It belongs to us. Even if there's no place for me in us. W, your hand. Medic. We need a medic over here.
Damn, he triggered the grenade. With the Sarkaz's death, his art ceases, the mire fades, and the stench of decay dissipates. Yet why does the wilderness around them remain so dark? A sense of unease deepens. The expression on the Sarkaz warriors as they died was one of devotion. Why would such an expression appear in the faces of men like them? Were you able to get in touch with HQ?
Intra-squad communication has been partially restored. Heavy interference still prevents us from reaching headquarters, though. It's possible that originium activity is spreading in the area. No need to worry, though. We haven't heard about any attacks in HQ. Plus, they have Her Highness and the Doctor there. We're one step away from winning this war.
Where's the vehicle? We're going back now.
But we haven't received further instructions. We could upset the Doctor's plans if we move without orders. Wait, I'm getting a message. It's from Scout. Scout says...
Babel was merely a temporary refuge, no different from the countless others before it, or so W had believed. True, there was always clean food and water, the badly wounded were not just left to die, and there were a few interesting guys around. But at the end of the day, it was all the same, just a place to stay. It was not the first time W had lost her home, before she joined up with Holder and Inez. Sometimes she would return to camp and find it in flames, sometimes she was the one who set it on fire. It was what she was used to. No Sarkis truly believes in peace and quiet. Destruction was a norm. Conflict was a spice of life. But when she saw the collapsed columns, the bloodstains in the corridors, and the doctors yelling instructions, for the first time she felt a profound sense of... collapse. What happened? Out of the way! Out of the way! Make way for the wounded! Make room for the sickbay! Out of the way! Where's Her Highness? No idea. All security systems have failed. Dr. Kelsey is... Look out! Did you do this?
Sarkaz, it's over.
Don't say that.
Now I see. Her blood was no different from ours.
You... Everything turns dark once more, like a curse that refuses to lift. Darkness engulfs the light, consuming it completely. No one can escape the night.
The war is over, along with its strife. Listen, Sarkaz, victory belongs to...
Urk. A blade penetrates the assassin's chest.
Babel didn't give you any orders, W. What are you doing here?
You want to talk to me about violating orders, now? Ascalon looks at her. W had worked with Ascalon for a while now, but this was the first time she saw that look on her face, that look in her eyes. She did not even know that Ascalon was capable of such sorrow. Is what Scout said true?
You shouldn't have come back, not now.
Where's Her Highness?
Sweep the ship, W. Rhodes Island is not out of danger yet. Dr. Kelsey is busy dealing with the emergencies. We're the only ones.
I'm asking you, where's Teresa?
Go to the mobility level. That's the most likely point of entry.
Are you bloody deaf? You said she's dead. I want to see it with my own eyes.
Listen to me, Sarkaz mercenary W. Fulfill your duty unless you want Babel to fall, and all her efforts to be for naught.
You're worthless. All of you. Worthless. Why did I ever trust you? Why did I ever believe that you could... Poor W. Nothing's changed. Nothing ever did. All high and mighty, were they not? Everyone on the ship? Didn't they spend all their time talking about their dreams? All their lofty ideals? Then why couldn't they even protect one person? All the things they've said, all the things that I thought could be. I was a fool who believed. I saw it. The blood and footprints in the chairman's room. There was nothing else left. It was like nothing was ever there. The darkness was thick and sticky. It always is. Teresa is dead. And I didn't even get to see her one last time. Your Highness? What are you doing here? The door's still... When did it get fixed? Guess closure's good for something after all. The old hag too. Rhodes Island stayed together barely after you were gone. She did her best. So did the little bunny. I did my part too. I wanted to see you again. Ever since I got to Londinium, I worried when I could. I never understood. Why'd you always put yourself through so much? Just like how I never understood why you cared so much about that broken door. Teresa's gone. What? Then who's standing right there? No, I must be dreaming. Why would Her Highness talk to me? Am I talking to myself? But the work of the sarcasm is not done. I will give myself to our cause. For a future where all of us can sleep without fear. I don't understand, but I believe you. What about you, then? Teresa turns around and pushes the door. It opens. Teresa walks through the door, followed by the countless silhouettes. Their voices booming, their questions piercing. The Sarkis will never be saved. No one can escape suffering, for we had once suffered. No one can escape hatred, for we had once hated. All the senseless deaths, all the shattered hopes. Where is paradise? Where is peace? Teresa's steps are slow and heavy. W opens her mouth. What should she say? What could she say? She finally realizes that it was not a conversation she had just experienced, but an echo of Teresa. But she could not resist asking the shadow, "How can I save you, Your Highness, if you're still alive?" "Keep going. You would go further than I ever have." "How will I know when I've gone far enough? If I killed you, will you be saved?" There is no answer. Teresa does not turn back, neither do the silhouettes. Their footsteps are slow, but their direction remain unwavering. Teresa walks further into the light, almost out of sight. "Your Highness!" W finally lets out what she's been holding back. "Screw the myriad souls! Screw their sufferings! I will bring peace back to you. Maybe you've never had true peace, but screw it! I'll end it all. For you, Your Highness." Did you see Teresa stop for a brief moment? W isn't sure. She shimmers and blends into the light. Darkness returns once more. Yay, at least W got to say what she wanted to say, right? What was that? Oh, the mask is off.
You heard the king's echo.
You're live? Chadley Koa appears behind W without her realizing. Neither the bombs nor the falling rocks left a mark on him. He comes up beside W and gently closes the door.
Her Highness has left.
How could you be so calm when I just blew up your home?
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. If destruction is inevitable, why despair when it comes?
So unbothered. You're just like, you know, it happens. That's just how it be. Me. You don't let things get to you, I'll give you that. Honestly, I'm starting to find you interesting. Aren't you supposed to be really powerful? Didn't any of the kings of Sarkaz try to send you to do something useful?
The one I serve, Juice Sartustag, transcends history itself. He is a colossal titan in the vast river of time. I followed him in his wars, my sword an instrument of death to his command, but my body a failed vessel at extending his life.
Guess even the craziest among us had their loyalists.
The experiment failed. Unable to fulfill my destined purpose, I banished myself to this realm. I am of no use, fit only to gather the remnants of bygone heroes and mourn the past. I have been waiting for someone to open the door to the future. I thought Teresa would be the one to do so.
The gaunt figure picks up the broken altar fragments on the ground and grinds them to a fine dust. He trails the powder down his cheeks with his fingers, creating two streaks that resemble tears. I like seeing more of W. She's so cute. Feisty, yet sweet. Deep down. She is spicy yet sweet.
Her Highness Teresa's gone. You have picked up her last echo. The King of Sarkaz is old subject. Your presence here may not be a coincidence, young Sarkaz.
You know what? I think so too. Got to leave a souvenir in the confissary's nest. Chalid Koa looks down to find several bombs at his feet.
Why did you?
You know what? Of all the old freaks I've met, you're one of the more interesting ones. But I couldn't leave a Commissarius without leaving a present behind.
What is your name, mercenary?
Find it on Teresa's tombstone. And then she just blows him up. Blows up the entire area. How savage, not even giving him a name. He was so unbothered, so polite. Okay, this map isn't too scary. Yeah, it's fine. All those spots though on the ground. Ew. Stinky spots. Countermeasures. Let's go! Alright, alright. 58 hours into the operation.
Sarkis whirring! How are we supposed to fight these guys when our equipment doesn't even come close to theirs? Evacuate, now! Lifeboat signal strong. We have a good fix at its location. Forward! Scoutcasters advance! Arg! Look out, enemies! Information. Watch for ambush. Infantry, form a line. Casters, provide cover.
Enos is so cool. Royal Court elites. Under Manfred's direct command, a lot of them. No heavy firepower though. I can at least slow them down. Hodor was right.
Ursula knows our defenses are weak, and she'll tell Manfred. We can use this to our advantage. The military commission won't allow Lifebound to fall into enemy hands. Manfred will destroy it if he had no other choice. Draw them in. Avoid direct confrontation. Manfred will be cautious about the use of heavy weapons as long as he thinks there's a chance to retake the skeleton intact. That gives us a chance to buy time. With enough time, there's a sliver of hope.
This had better work, Hodor. What's this bothersome shadow? Nachzera arts. Mercenaries are just mercenaries. Maybe you could hold your own in a one-to-one fight, or small-scale confrontations. But where did you find the nerve to fight a real war? I've always been curious. What made mercenaries like you choose to become enemies of the military commission? The shadow blends into the vast darkness, yet not enough to escape the decay that closely follows. We have intel of a merc who could manipulate shadows. Are you Ines? An outsider, dressing herself up as a Sarkaz, participating in the wars of the Sarkaz. What are you? A Sarkaz fangirl? I become less interested in when the Sarkaz talk too much. Shadows erupt from beneath the Nachzera, morphing into sharp blades that streak towards her chest, only to tear through layers of tattered clothes. The Nachzera's ribbons are wrapped tightly around the shadow blades. Until they shatter and disintegrate, the Nachzera's knife presses against Ines' throat. Nice party trick. Not enough to take down a real soldier though, amateur. Consider yourself lucky that I don't approve of Sanguinarch's methods. A new era for the Sarkaz is dawning. Mercenaries like you who strayed from the path should get a second chance. Are you the leader of this rabble? I am Lieutenant General Nadine. General Manfred's deputy, and I offer you the chance to surrender. I suggest you take it. Huh. You don't look scared. Scared of what? A wet behind the ears rookie who's on a real battlefield for the first time. What did you say? I know your type. You got into the military commission's academy because of your royal court bloodline, studied a few theories, and got promoted to staff officer as soon as you graduated. Sorry to say, but real war is a bit harder than those exams you passed. You'll pay the price for your futile taunting. It's not futile if it distracts you. Who's the amateur now, Lieutenant General? Oh! Explosions of life! What a grand entrance! I like this. Thank you, W. You're the bestest. She is the greatest after all. And don't mind me, just gonna have a little picture. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Boop. Yeah. Screenshot. Perfect screenshot time. I appreciate that. She's adorable. Yeah. Damn, this thing packs a punch. The heap of deadwood wasn't lying. How did you know I was coming? I could smell the explosives from a mile away. Oh yeah? Guess we're starting to build chemistry. I'd rather not have my brain cells mixed with your bomb-blasted ones. Thank you very much. Enough small talk. How many did the military commission send? I'll blow them all the way back to Casdell. Where did you go? And what's with the outfit change? Oh, so that's where she becomes Wizardell. I like that. Where did she find her outfit? Oh. Oops, I accidentally changed my window size. My old guard was a little afraid, so I had to improvise. You'd never believe what I ran into out there. You're tough for a heap of deadwood. If I can't blow you up, at least I'll blast all this stuff.
These weapons and armor are relics of the great Sarkad's heroes. Your weapons will not harm them.
So you're saying these things are blast-proof? Alright, don't mind if I do. Better for them to get some sunshine with me than rot in here.
Young mercenary, you should respect the Sarkad's heroes.
I like this. She's just looting. Wizardell went full loot goblin, and I like that. I respect that. Yeah, they rather use them than just let them there to like rot, right? They're just gonna collect dust. Might as well put them to good use. What's going on? Where's Manfred? I could use a target to try out my new gear. Don't be hasty. You'll ruin our plan if you make too much of a scene. Why, does Hoderer have some trick up his sleeve again? You've squandered your only chance to live. You refused to join the military commission. Now you will feel the war.
I hear the sound of fighting. Things are going smoothly, sir. We haven't run into much resistance. The mercenaries are no match for us, but it would be difficult to stop them from destroying Lifebone out of desperation. No, they won't do it. This book has no ending. It's just a manuscript from the unknown writer. Hardly worthy of your attention, General. I remember you, veteran. You like reading, not just any book, but the kind that promotes this sort of pessimism towards war. No need to justify your reading interests. Be honest with me, mercenary. What ending would you write if you were the author? The hero returns home, not a death in battle. A warrior should think of more than his home in battle. Whose home should he think of then? Your empathy is admirable. Pardon my impudence. Sentimentality is a necessary trait in an author, but indecision is the worst trait in a soldier. I understand. Your compassion is the reason I've kept you alive for so long. But you should have gone back to Casdell, become a teacher or farmer, giving up on your ludicrous mercenary career. Lifebone was meant to be a way home for our warriors. Remain vigilant. A beast is most dangerous when cornered. Keep up the pressure. Give them no quarter. Sir, look out!
No one sees the smoke coagulate into a blade, as subtly as mist condenses into dew. The soldier beside Manfred throws himself into the front of his commander. The blade impels him, delaying it for an instant. Enough for Manfred to draw his sword.
You won't.
Just like old times fighting. Fight, fight, fight. It all happens in the blink of an eye. Arts coagulate by Manfred's side, just as he swings his sword upwards. But Ascalon's blade is swifter. This time, there's no doubt, no hesitation. A blow long due. The assassin and the general cross blades, severing life and death, and all their past ties.
General!
The sword impales Ascalon's shoulder, but the sleeve blade pierces Manfred's heart.
Ah, you've lived up to your words. As I said I would. If you had made up your mind, I would have died at your hand a long time ago.
I still have regrets about not killing you the night you left Casdell. Farewell.
What a shame. I thought you would at least shed a tear. What?
Aw, it was part of the Demasti cluster. You would have recognized us under any other circumstances. Quick and direct, weren't you? Did you care too much about him, or too little? Of course it wouldn't be that easy to bonk Manfred. Everything went exactly as Manfred expected. You still don't know Manfred well enough for all the years that you've been rivals. But he knows you all too well.
We've engaged in the road court on both the north and the south sides, and we're pulling back our lines as planned.
When W was looting, I bet she just grabbed whatever she thought looked cool for herself, and then maybe some gear for her guys. It's like, hey guys, so I grabbed this for myself. If you guys want to get the rest of the loot, go ahead. By the way, there's this weird guy in there. Just don't attack him. Or, you can attack him if you like, but he won't do anything back. He's just a weird old man in there, just doing his thing.
We've engaged the road court on both the north and the south sides, and we're pulling back our lines as planned. Everything has gone according to plan so far. Good. Any sign of Manfred? Not yet. He wouldn't be content to just sit in the back and bark orders at a time like this. I hope things go smoothly for Ascalon. No, she won't be coming back. What did you say? What? I knew you would be here. Manfred. Delay tactics. Did you really think protecting the skeleton would help you turn the tables? Why? I gave you a chance. I gave you far too many chances. You did the smart thing to do. Once again. You're having Sarkaz slaughter Sarkaz. Haven't you had enough of wars like this? You disappoint me. Their death is not on me, but your naivety. You should have left a long time ago. Isn't this what you had always longed for? Now your mercenaries will die here, as will my soldiers, for something so meaningless. Have you not learned the lessons of the Civil War? That's why the Sarkaz shouldn't repeat the mistakes of the past. Haven't we all seen the Civil War? Haven't we all seen what the Civil War becomes? We lost an entire generation to the Civil War, and you're trying to kill more. Nothing will come out of this war. This war against all Terra. Something will come of it. Something must. You've seen it already. You just refuse to acknowledge it. To hate and be hated. If that's not the military commission's goal, then mission accomplished. Don't you understand? That's the reason I needed you to get out of this. Get out of this. Yes, Civil War cost Kazo an entire generation, and made you and I out of the survivors. Murderers who can only live by the sword. Why have you stayed if you want to change all this? There was so much more you could have done and should have done. So what if I return to Kasdel? What happens next? How do I describe to the children? The fields where their fathers, their mothers, their brothers and their sisters are buried. How do I make them believe in another future? Hatred is a means to unity, but you cannot let that unity become the spark for new hatred. I can't leave. Not while the war continues. So you have chosen to live and die with the war. In that case, I will give you the answer. Holderer, you coward. You lack even the courage to keep living. This is what makes you so contemptible. This is what disappoints me so deeply.
Poor Ascalon, she couldn't have her proper fight with Manfred. Instead, Manfred chose Holderer. Sorry, Ascalon, your rivalry is... Oh. Oh, it's more of these. Oh, wonderful. Great. Fantastic. The fireflies. Ah, lovely. Of course, of course. I'm gonna be fighting these now. Okay, I'll get these. This side seems fine. And then this side for Dub. Or was it Dub? Yes. Yeah, she can get this side. Okay, so far so good. Maybe a healer would be nice. Yeah, healers are good to have. Fine enough. Boop. Ooh. Wow. It can 3-tap. It can 3-tap him in this first stage. Like, is that after increasing it more in the outpost? Or just as is after making it level 7? And ooh, these are spooky. Let me get them real quick. Okay, level 7 without further training. That's super OP then. These fireflies are just standing there menacingly. Good job. Just a few more. Come on. Okay. And there they are. Ta-da! No fear. The 7th batch of new comm stations has been set up. 1/3 of all comms lines have been restored. Data from makeshift catastrophe monitoring stations indicate stabilizing atmospheric originium concentration, but rising underground originium's activity. 2 more teams of engineers have arrived at their destination. Continue to eliminate obstacles standing in the way of the main fleet. 4 battleships from the Duke of Gotaden, including the Phyllisis, will arrive at the rendezvous point in 15 minutes to join the escort flotilla after resupply. Joint Command confirms that Wellington reinforcements... You heard those announcements? The Ducal Alliance's forward base is just ahead. Smooth sailing so far. We owe Rhodes Island our thanks for plotting our route, and it's not just us who are indebted to them. Should we drive our tank straight in? Small encounters are one thing, but this is one of the main camps of the Ducal Alliance. Will the Exemplar's ID code really work? Of course. Please leave trifles like these to me and proceed ahead. Your entrances are always so sudden, Mr. Asher. Looks like you've been keeping an eye on our little procession in the middle of everything else you had to do. There's a group of soldiers up ahead, Vina, plus a few trucks of ammo, gear, and food. Should we just accept it? Could be a trap that this Burke's laid for us. Yes, we'll take it. Ideals alone won't win battles. Thank you, Mr. Bellingham. Sincerely, this time. You've helped us more than once. Please, don't call me that. I'm perfectly content at being the strange man in the hat. It's for the better if you suspect ulterior motives behind my every move. These gifts aren't just for Gibsonham. It's also for everything that Rhodes Island has done. We have sent people to direct civilians to the safe zones. Gifts? Didn't think you engage in such courtesies. Better than not doing anything, isn't it? You know how Victoria works. The towns around Ladinium were not part of the Dukecaster's jurisdiction. Considering the circumstances, however, Her Grace was forced to take certain actions that might perhaps be controversial in the future, in order to provide safe shelters for as many as possible. Enough. I'm not interested in how Dukecaster intends to win people over. Tell me, where the Stone of the Sword is, and what's happening in the front lines. No need to rush, Your Royal Highness. The history of the Stone of the Sword is long and complex. Ideally,
I would require several dozen photographs, an abundance of literature, and have you cleared for the highest access before I could properly recount these stories. In any case, I will take you to the front personally. If I were you, I would tell the troops to get some rest at the camp while they still can. You will learn more about the situation at the camp. Seeing is worth 1,000 words, did not?
Ooh, we're gonna get another special sword, huh? Here, I'll help.
Heave-ho! That's the last crate. Thank you. We're running short on ammo.
The logistics team says they'll whip up a Bonnie meal from the supplies you brought before we head out. Care to join us for a bite?
Thanks for the offer, but we've got Sarkas scums to kill. We just received orders from command to join up with the assault on Silver Rock Bluffs once we've transferred the supplies. Those monsters, Notchzerers, they're called. I can't wait to put them down. Look at this. The newest crossbows, AP ammo, precision arts units. This stuff would be rare even in elite units in ordinary times. What about Originian protection? Fighting Sarkas isn't just about firepower. No worries. We've been issued a full set of PPE, plus medication. Look. What the? Breaks over. Private Brown, get ready to move. Have you oiled your crossbow? I'll oil it with the blood of Sarkas. Hope their blood doesn't stink too much. Good man. Now back to your squad. Are you the commander of this unit? My name is Shearer. I served as the medical officer at the Duke of Windermere's flagship. Your soldier claimed they've been issued sufficient Originian PPE, but... What are you trying to say, Lieutenant? As far as I know, the Duke of Windermere's troops have withdrawn from the war. It's not your place to question me. Go back to whatever you're supposed to be doing. You know full well, don't you? This type of equipment offers protection against mild industrial pollution at best, and yet you're issuing them to soldiers. Soldiers who are about to walk into highly active Originian plume to face a catastrophe and infected Sarkas head on. They'll all get infected and die on the front lines from acute symptoms. On what authority are you speaking to me? As a lieutenant of the so-called exemplars. I'm questioning you as a citizen of Victoria with a medical education major. Victorian citizen, eh? Then you should know that not even Victoria could produce specialized Originian PPE for 100,000 soldiers on such short notice. But you should at least tell them the truth. By observing proper operating procedures in highly active Originian environments, their infection rates could be reduced by as much as... Spare me the lecture. We came to fight, we came to die. But we will take the Sarkas with us until victory belongs to Victoria. Infected, or Ripathy? There will be no confirmed cases of Ripathy in the Victorian army before the end of the war. This is absurd, Me and my commanding officer and his commanding officer will all be wearing the same protective equipment. We will charge with our men. Nay, we'll be leading the charge. Now let go of me. If you want to make a difference, exemplar, go to the front lines. Lieutenant Shearer. You heard him. Thanks to advance warning from our Rhodes Island friends, the exemplars have sufficient protective gear. We even have some to spare. Don't even think about it. What little we can provide is just a drop in the ocean for the tens of thousands in need. All we can do is take care of ourselves. We have our own duty. To bring an end to all this as quickly as we can.
It can't be. Captain?
It's him.
Your shield. Where are you loading your weapon, Captain? What are you doing? Wait for me. What did you see?
Someone I thought to be long dead. Lieutenant. What happened to my men? They're here, rest assured. They're only unconscious. I don't mean Chella's group. You know who I mean. Don't push me, or it won't be my shield against your chin. If you draw your sword, you'll be assaulting an ally. Heh, ally. At what point since the moment we entered County Hillock have you ever treated us as an ally? Answer me! Lost him. Hill, adjutant, to Colonel Hamilton. I thought he had died in the fires of Dublin with the colonel. Not just him, I saw many familiar faces on the Wellington tanks. They could change their clothes, but I'll never forget their faces.
County Hillock.
I remember my men bagpipe, and how each of them died. Cello and oboe died at the hands of Dublin. Triangle, snare, bass, and mandolin died to friendly fire. Moments before dying, Triangle asked me, who is our enemy? There isn't a night when I don't think about that question. Just who is our enemy, bagpipe?
It's Dublin.
Dublin, certainly. We can hate the Tyrans. You once told me that you encountered the former leader of Dublin and let her go. I met her enemy too. The Dublin commander who killed Cello. I buried her by the walls of Londinia with my own hands. I couldn't stop myself from hating her, but I know she's far from the only one responsible for this tragedy. Why did our comrades, the most loyal soldiers of Victoria, die at County Hillock, while Hill and more traitors live?
Captain,
I know what I'm doing. If we fire the Duke's tents now, we risk bringing down the Alliance, even the dream of the Exemplars. That's the saddest thing, isn't it? We can't even take revenge, because they've put on their bloody Victorian uniforms and once again become our allies.
Captain, permission to speak freely?
Granted.
I don't trust them. Would the men who killed our friends, the ones who fired on innocent civilians, really stand with us when we charge against the Sargas? Even we can set aside our hatred and trust our lives to our former enemies, Wu to reservation. Could they?
There you are.
V9 inspected this forward base. The troops are disciplined, the morale is high. The Dukes are taking this seriously. They seem to have reached a united front, allowing the troops to be organized according to function rather than faction. At least, that's what it looks like on the surface. We saw Caster's elites standing guard near all the Wellington tents, and at least 2 or 3 groups of Caster's men stationed farther away. A faked unity is unity nonetheless. At least, in a time of crisis, the Dukes know who the true enemy is. One more piece of bad news. I checked the field at the field hospital. It's sparkling clean. There isn't a single wounded inside. They're abandoning the wounded? That's impossible. Morale would collapse. Or maybe there are no wounded. Also impossible. We saw how fierce the fighting is on the way here. Things could only be worse at Silver Rock Bluffs. Wait, you don't mean?
None of the wounded made it back. We need to put an end to this tragedy as soon as we can. The exemplar strength might be insignificant compared to the all-consuming war, but creating miracles, that's what we do. An inspiring pep talk. Repairs on your tanks are complete.
There you are at last. Wait, why is the ground red? Is it your blood or...
That's not important. My orders are to ensure that the size of Kings finds its pedestal. Should I fail, another will put on this hat, and continue the work. I bring a message from the Duke of Castor, Your Royal Highness. Castor forever honors her commitments.
Enough pleasantries. Where's this pedestal? This stone of the sword?
You've seen the camp. You've an idea of what the front line is like. This is hardly the best time to tell you the truth, but we have no choice. The pedestal is on the glorious flagship of the Duke of Castor.
What?
You planned this all along. You guided our path, gave us a place to rest, so you could lead us onto your home field. What's next? Will Castor's troops turn their weapons on us if we say no? Please, no need to get excited. Facts are facts, no matter how you choose to interpret them. My orders were always to bring the realm blade to the stone of the sword, with or without exemplars. Please, consider it an act of good faith that I am telling you the truth now, rather than simply taking the sword from you during your darkest hour. Continue. Like I said, the history around the sword and the pedestal is a complex one that ought to be known only by a selected few royals and nobles. In the distant past, even before the Shah of past and future, an explorer discovered an artifact deep inside the sands in the south of Sargon. It was by no means a sword, but it was also able but it was able to repress the spread of originium crystals within a certain area. The treasure allowed the explorer to survive a catastrophe that should have engulfed the entire team. The legend of the catastrophe cleaver. The survivors forged a sword out of the artifact and presented it to the Shahanshah at the time as a symbol of valor. In the year 737, the Aslan Padishah, Lugo Shamshi, brought the Size of Kings to Victoria. Decades later, his grandson became Victoria's first Lord of Lions. The sword has severed the head of a dread dragon, witnessed the reconciliation between Aslan and Draco, and became the symbol of Victoria's royal authority. It has been damaged and reforged several times, and many have tried to uncover the secret behind its ability to fend off catastrophe. Scholars have yet to understand the principles behind the sword's power, but they did discover how to make the most of it. The pedestal, dubbed Stone of the Sword, at the Mausoleum of Kings is a result of research by House Castor. The Duke of Castor at the time kept up a backup. After the original pedestal in the Mausoleum of Kings was destroyed in that battle, the only working replica is kept on the Glorious. For a century, Castor has coveted the round blade. The chance has finally arrived. Countless soldiers and civilians will die in the war, but Castor gets to reap the fruit of victory and become the hero who saves Victoria. Judge it as you will, but this is what the little chance. If not, the only chance at victory Victoria has in present crisis. Our trump card in this dangerous game. Sugarcoat it all you want, but you can't convince us that the despicable scheming never happened. The choice is yours, Your Royal Highness. Enough. I refuse to engage in arguments over power, while we denounce the dukes for being calculative. There is no Princess Alexandrina, only Siege, leader of the Exemplars. There is no symbol of royal authority. The Size of Kings is just a weapon, one that can win the war for Victoria. We go to war.
I want to see the Size of Kings finally shine, but I feel like it probably won't. We gotta go to the boat first and then figure out how to work the stone.
Thank you. On behalf of Victoria.
The spy takes half a step back and bows.
I'll lead the way, however. You should prepare yourselves.
East Vanguard reports, retaking 3 villages by Duskglow River. Sarka's forces continue to staunchly defend Silver Rock Bluffs Pass. All resistance on the southern front of the Redmane Mountains has been neutralized, however. Command expressly forbids crossing the mountains to flank the Sarkas. All gunboats and dreadnoughts in position. Support gunboats have also arrived at their destination. The ground continues to tremble. The wary travelers can no longer distinguish the quakes from bombardments or the clusters of originium erupting from the earth. The earth is scarred by deep, crisscrossing battleship tread marks. The stench of blood and sludge hangs heavily in the air. The Exemplar's tanks lumber through the rugged terrain.
We're almost in the hot zone. How far until Duke Castor's flagship? A moment, please. I'm searching for the signal. Keep heading north, and we'll soon... Bushcraft guns! The lead tank has been destroyed. We've taken damage too. We can't move. Is it the engine or the wheel? Possibly both. Fix it ASAP. We can't stay here. We need to deliver the Realm Blade to the Stone of the Sword. Wait, what's the mountain? I don't recall any mountain like that outside Lindinium. That's no mountain. It's Originium.
Oh, what a journey. The churning tides of Originium have coalesced into a colossal mass, blotting out the sun and transforming the very landscape. In its shadow, even battleships appear as mere specks. Above the mountain of Originium... Oh, look at them, floating there menacingly. A withered throne ominously hovers. The Noxera King gazes upon the battlefield. All seeds sprout from the same time, withered branches creeping towards every death-shrouded corner.
Go, my bravest warriors! Gnaw upon the greatest bone, tear ardent steel apart, as you would skin and... as you would skin and flesh. Rip, tear, consume. We shall teach the Victorians. The master of war shall master war.
Great. Wonderful. A bunch of floating dudes are gonna come after us now. Okay. Last part of the night. Close the port. Ugh. Eh. Eh. That's fine. Let's go! How bad can this be? Ha ha ha. What the hell are those things up in the sky? Get down. Delphine, your right hand. Don't touch. This isn't any normal cannon fire. Dark as witchcraft. It's corrosive in nature. I won't be much help. Those people still trapped in the polluted area. It's too late for them. You got shit in the air, stuff growing on the ground, and crystals and dust everywhere. Can't even take a damn step. The Sarkas want to turn this battlefield into their home turf, forcing us to put down our gear and cower while they pummel us. When it comes to head-to-head infantry battle, the Sarkas will surely have an advantage due to their natural physique. Alright, I get it now. It's all just a dirty trick. Which is why we can't afford to get caught off guard. If they ever get the drop on us, we're done for on the spot. Morgan, get us as many of our vehicles up and running as you can. Avoid any close combat with the Sarkas infantry. Even if a vehicle is destroyed, don't overlook the mounted cannon. They're the best weapons we've got. Understood. Delphine, send the signalers out as widely as you feasibly can. The exemplars will be able to maintain communication that way, at the very least. At the least. Of course. If we want to push forward, we're gonna have to take down that altar up ahead. Horn, covering fire. Roger. Indra, your team's responsible for holding the enemy back. Doesn't matter if it's casters or arts creations or whatever those things are up in the sky. You got it. Douglas team, you're with me. Same as always. Same as always. I can see the core. Move out. Well, yeah, the battlefield's literally on fire, and there's a bunch of pointy rocks and floating dudes all around. Another altar of Sarkas witchcraft. Climb, pull up, leap, bring down the hammer. As the war reaches on, they become more and more familiar with these war machines resembling the devil's eyes. They become more and more familiar with war itself. Vina often feels as if Indra, Morgan, and Dagda have changed somewhat. She trusts that the very same changes can be seen in her. Is it a change for the better, or a change that came far too late? The devil's crimson eyes stare at her. The hammer comes down hard, and the altar begins to collapse before our siege even reaches the ground. It worked! Phew, we took it down even quicker than the last one. I hear something. Back up! Something's growing out of that bloody thing. It's another altar, not far from the one we knocked down. How many of these little buggers did they bury in the ground? Bloody hell! There's no end to them. Siege tightly grips her hammer. They're adapting, but not quickly enough. Trilby Asher, has the location of the Stone of the Sword changed? I haven't been notified of any changes to the plan. Can the ship still move, with all the originium crystals everywhere? I'll have you know, Victoria is the most powerful fleet on the land. We might be slowed a little, but we're certainly not without options. I hear naval guns. I believe it's the Iron Duke's Gastro, going by the sound. The next round of our assault is beginning. They better help.
One of Abercorn's assault ships has run to the Sarkas advance brigade. The enemy was hiding in the fog and suddenly appeared. Our vision is severely limited by the originium crystals, and we can't follow their movements at all. Has mid-range communication been restored yet? The ship's comm tower is still out of commission. Engineering's trying to repair it, but in this originium dense zone. Your Grace, what are you doing on deck? There's originium dust everywhere outside. Please try not to leave the command center. I've heard that Wellington always stands on the deck of the gas drill personally, commanding his frontline troops. The Iron Duke has been through many battles, but you...
It's like the Iron Duke is just built different.
Just now, the gas drill opened fire. Your ears did not deceive you. Is he still pressing forward? I'm afraid so. The Iron Duke's forces have penetrated deeper than we thought, and are about to collide with the Sarkis core units. Wellington. Does he plan to take the head of the Sark as regent? The Wesley Wellington I knew was indeed a warrior before he became the Iron Duke. His bravery might have bordered on madness, but he would never gamble with the outcome of a battle. Regardless, the Iron Duke's recklessness has placed us at a great risk. As per the initial orders, Duke Abercorn's and Duke Ashworth's men are following the Iron Duke, and among them, our vanguard as well. Factoring the surrounding originium, our front line is being stretched thin. What are the eyes you placed aboard the Gastro? Nothing yet. Even as Trilby Ashers are experiencing some serious delays in communication. Eileen, confirm the status of the Stone of the Sword.
No issue so far. We will never allow the Stone of the Sword to be tainted by Sarkis witchcraft.
Your Grace, the poet has launched a flare. So Alexandrina and the size of kings will arrive soon. Have your people keep a close eye on them. Don't let the sword get lost on the battlefield. We must put the size of kings to work immediately. Unless the comms are restored fully, the so-called Ducal Alliance is non-entity.
And true. Even without Victoria, Wellington will still be Wellington. Wellington do what Wellington wanna do.
The enemy seems to be getting stronger. The same witchcraft eats away at us while strengthening them.
Siege, watch out.
Arg!
Dogda. The hammer falls, and a portion of the Notchzera warrior's body is caved in, but he continues to advance. A second swing, then a third. Dogda leaps back, splitting his waist with her metal claws. The Trilby Ash's flaming blade pierces his chest.
Dog gasps. That's just one. There's still many more ahead. These Sarkis are truly monsters. These bloody devils are all monsters. God damn it. They're not even flesh and blood. Do you think they're already dead? Only the dead can.
Already dead? Strange noises can be heard in all directions. They are distinct from the sounds of originium crystal clusters piercing the ground. They are not omens of the explosion of originium dust. Captain, we can't hold on like this. There's no end to them.
Better focus on the ones right in front of you then. There's always going to be someone standing up front.
Raise the shield, fire the cannon, repeat ad infinitum. Victoria possesses the strongest weapons in all Terra. One shell can easily blow apart a Sarkis' armor. Just as quickly, 2 more Sarkis rush forth at the same time to take the place, then 3. The artillery fire unleashes its fury, but it cannot stem the surging tide. There's no end to the enemies. She can hardly tell how many Sarkis are on the ground in front of her, some standing, some lying. The number of fallen Victorians is perhaps even greater. She can hear bagpipe shouts and the whistling of her spear. From those she finds almost solace, but that's enough to keep her fighting on. A plume of firelight suddenly springs up not too far away.
Bagpipe.
What is it, Captain?
I think I just saw Hill again.
Oh, Hill. That same face again, the same face that appears in her nightmares every now and then, reminding her of how tragically her teammates died. The face of the traitor.
He's dead.
Is he the one lying over there? Seems to have been killed in action some time ago. Captain, just now did he...
He moved. He's standing up again.
The man clad in the uniform of Wellington's forces staggers towards them. He lifts the blade in his hands and slashes at the Sarkis in front of Horn. The armor is too thick, and the recoil pushes his hands away. His arms contort strangely as he strikes a second time, then a third. He's a zombie! The familiar visage is getting closer and closer to them. In the midst of the dead, silent gray, only a tiny speck of purple dances. It's her! It's Dublin. Oh, she's making her appearance here too, huh? I lay down now my soldiers' honor here, so that in time the soil of Tara need no longer be soaked in carmine blood, and Draco cross no swords with Draco kin. Be that unless the day comes, whereupon Red Dragon's flame should lead all those that fell, our fighters from the forge, to be reborn.
The third set of altars have been crushed. Milady, our casters and flying soldiers are in position. We're about to approach the largest altar. Our deceased compatriots have managed to protect us from the devil's vile pollution, but the destructive power of their witchcraft is unprecedented.
Allow me.
Milady, you're going to destroy the altar yourself?
You as my subjects have all done what you needed to do. I as your sovereign ought to lead you forward. How can I take this land as my own if I've never set foot upon it? The Red Dragon's flame shall fall upon the battlefield's front lines, just as it has for thousands of years.
Our altar's being raised. Stay in formation. Don't get scattered by those flames. Keep casting. They're nothing but a ragtag bunch of impotent outbloods.
I wouldn't be so sure about that. We're nothing like those Victorians who have it easy. Every Tehran warrior has been forged within the shadows, tempered by pain and suffering. We were once known as specters, for we knew most intimately the scent of death.
I won't let you.
Trying to turn yourself into an arts catalyst to detonate the altar? As you wish.
No! I'm too late.
The spark of life gradually fades, and in its place burns a deathly purple flame, leaping across the body of the slain Sarka's warrior, just as it dances in Iblana's eyes. There is no royal court in Death's domain. Not gonna lie, she looks very, very cool here. Sarkaz, your people know death so well, only because you fought enough wars.
See that? Death itself stands with us. Our enemies are not inscrutable demons. Drag those Sarkas out from their pretentious art circles and give them a taste of our crossbows and cannons.
Brigadier, I see a flame burning within your eyes.
I've waited far too long for this, just like countless other Tehran warriors. All of us grew up hearing the legends of the Empire's death knell and enlisted with burning fervor in our hearts. But over the last few decades, Wellington's administrator and the Duke have had their hands tied, and we've also been caught in between the cracks of the other Dukes' negotiation tables. So many hot-blooded warriors were repressed because of their background, while many others perished in the Victorians' conspiracies. I've endured for so many years, even to see myself turn into a scheming villain, all for the sake of witnessing a real war, not one ignited by the nobles' petty power jockeying. Only on such a battlefield can a warrior's death be glorious and meaningful. If I'm to die in this battle, then please bestow upon me your flame so that I may stand once more. Until my remains are consumed fully by the fire, until our promised nation has been established, I shall never lay down my arms.
Excellent. Now then, come with me. Do you see the throne of Deadwood?
As a Sarkas leader,
The Notchsarer, Nisalem, who calls himself the Lord of War and Death.
the Sarkas Royal Court shares a thing for these overblown titles.
Dang though, this Brigadier is so excited. He's like, hell yeah! I've been waiting for this moment! Ooh, I want to see the fight between the Notchsarers and Nobunaga. That's gonna be terrifying. I feel like she has the upper hand. Since they are old and well, old isn't really bad, but they're like dark wood type, and she is fire. Well, she'd be fire dark, and fire beats wood usually. So the Sarkas Royal Court shares a thing for. The Sarkas Royal Court shares a thing for these overblown titles. Overblown? Hardly. He just happened to be ancient enough. I really want to see their fight. Their fight will be 10 out of 10. But he is not the only one
the only living legend here. Why, of course!
Not far away, naval guns roar. Ancient witchcraft is not the only force that can cause mountains to move.
Now let us pit war against war, and death against death. My patriarch, the hunt has been cut short. The Draco's flames have broken our formation. Draco. Thousands of years ago, after the Sarkas first lost their homeland, they once did battle against a red dragon on this very soil. Those flames turned field of Sarkas into charred stone. They are still beside us, and beneath our feet. We will slay her. A red dragon will stay to appetite for a while. She is not the one who drives this war.
The Notchzera King turns his gaze towards a certain part of the battlefield. Behind the red dragon's smoke and flames, a huge shadow is rushing towards them at an unexpected speed.
A titan that casts a shadow across the land, able to shake mountains and rivers, but with a single breath. No longer is it a mere red dragon.
All perimeter set. Loading complete. Firing interference shells. Target locked on. Main guns, first salvo.
Confirmed hit. General, we've swept the obstacles away. Good. Gastro. All ahead full. Our objective, the Notchzera's throne.
The naval guns roar. Wellington is well acquainted with his most loyal subject, the oldest gun aboard the ship, which assisted him in blowing open the gates of Lingonez. He killed the mightiest nomadic city on Terra. He pulled the spine from its corpse and made it a part of his warship. Of course he would! Of course Wellington would! Afterwards, he took the Gastro to many lands and conquered many foes. The arts orbs of Lithanian casters, the shields of Ursine vanguards, the golden blades of Sargonian assassins, he collected and modified the most valuable of components of his enemies, and placed them upon his flagship. As one does when you're Wellington. But not for the sake of commemoration. Only those who have become weak and frail through the passage of time need to rely on these vestiges to remember the past. The Gastro must step over the bones of its enemies, assimilating their power so that it may become stronger. Only this way can the two of them defeat even stronger enemies together.
Intercept them. The crystal barrier has been shattered. The enemy continues to advance. How they must long for death using artillery fire to cleave a path.
Wave after wave of cannon fire pours down into the sea of Originium. Golden fragments crack and split apart, revealing a gap within those congealed waves.
How dare they? Approach us!
A thick haze envelops the battleship. Countless Notchzera warriors land on its deck, the entire vessel enveloped in the glow of witchcraft. Rend, dismantle, corrode. The cadence of gunfire gradually slows. The hard steel hull is being digested, just like all other prey that has fallen onto the Notchzera's art circles.
Capture. Complete. Not yet.
He lifts his scepter. Branches grow rapidly from beneath the throne, blocking the front of the Notchzera warriors. A shell lodges within the branches. A few seconds later, the shell explodes, tearing the branches asunder. For the first time since the battle began, the Notchzera's throne shakes.
My patriarch! It matters not.
From the thick haze of corruption, the warship slowly comes into view. Its outer layer flayed off by the corruption, almost half its main and secondary guns disabled due to the bombardment of witchcraft shells. Only the steel frame remains shining, yet she is nevertheless still Gastro, the mightiest warship in the land. And her master. The Sarkas atop the throne lowers his head, noticing a faint shadow among the crystal clusters.
General, the Gastro has successfully drawn the attention of the main Sarkas force. They didn't even notice that we were transferred from the main ship. Wait, something's coming in fast. Guardsmen, taking your formation.
I know, right? Instead of Iblana versus Nasalem, it's Nasalem versus Wellington, because Wellington is just built different. He's like, nah, I have to get involved. It shall be me, Wellington. A salvo of artillery fire. Only a few tiny twigs fall from the smoke and dust. The force that was enough to shatter those crystalline waves cannot even shake the figure floating in the air. The Notchzera king casts his gaze down upon the commander at the center of the army. Not far behind the old feline, the bloodthirsty warship is waiting, eager to tear at his rotting flesh.
Duke of Victoria. We've devoured many Victorians, General Duke. Whatever the title, they all tasted the same. Conspirators, merchants, but none of their warriors. They saw the battlefield as little more than a sandbox atop a table. The soldiers were mere chess pieces, war itself only a tool for power and profit. How frivolous war was to them. But you are different. Your ship has also feasted on many enemies. Ursine, Nathanian, Gaulish, and Sarkaz. I can smell their flesh. They've also been absorbed by the Notchzerers. Sarkaz, I read plenty of records about you. The ancient Notchzerers, with a tenth of the Victorian army's numbers, were able to halt their advance in Kazdel, a feat of war that defies all reason. One cannot be taught in military academies or replicated. Are you here to take revenge? Ha ha! My only regret is that I hadn't been born 200 years ago. They apparently called you the god of war. No, there are no gods when it comes to war. There only exists the moment of victory or defeat.
Wellington draws his sword and points it at the Sarkaz in midair. Of course, Wellington is not gonna back down. Behind him, all the guns in his ship are pointed at the same direction.
Nasalem, I will defeat you. Just like all the other mighty foes that have fallen at my hands.
Dang, Wellington. Okay, out of all the dukes, Wellington has become my favorite. Oh, he's entertaining. He is definitely... He's fun. I enjoy his craziness. That I appreciate. And oh, how do I want to do this? Oh, right here's fine, actually. Okay, no fear, no fear, no pain. It's still technically out of the range, I think. Oh, never mind. I will.
This be fine.
Heh heh heh. Completely fine. And go get him, Susie. Alright, alright. No fear. This might sting a little bit, but I'll actually... I think I'll have to put him down. Oh no, I'll put him down here, because why not? They'll just be staring out there. Staring at Wizardell. Glorious, glorious Wizardell. Nah, there's not a if I didn't get Wizardell. No matter what, she would have came home. It was more pain and suffering than I would have liked, but I'm glad I got her in the end. And ooh, look at that one just floating there menacingly. Goodbye. Good job, Susie. Now go get them fools. Come on, get here faster. There. Phew. Very nice. "65 hours into the operation. The battle between the Ducal Alliance and the Notchzerers is brutal. Just farther ahead is Silver Rock Bluffs. The Originium response is intense, and the vehicle has already been paralyzed. Vina should be arriving at the front line soon. The Exemplars have a tough task ahead of them. When the size of kings and the stone of the sword become one, we'll be able to see it from our position. Catastrophes be sundered. It's only a myth. When people see things that defy explanation, they tend to exaggerate and romanticize them when passing down those two generations. The size of kings and the shard. The Victorian shield and spear. The size of kings and the shard. The shard is an application of originium on the same level as its large-scale witchcraft devices, and the size of kings is able to neutralize certain originium reactions.
I see you've done your homework.
Originium is often likened to a chronic disease. To this day, the people of the Terra's best solution to catastrophes has been, and still is, to avoid them. It is incredibly difficult for people to directly intervene in the mechanisms of originium, but the Victorians have long mastered these tools to save themselves. The origin of the size of kings lies not in Victoria, right?
The first time I saw the size of kings was within the palace of the Shahanshah in Sargon. People regard it as a symbol of the Aslan's royal authority, and believe it can protect any settlement or city. This is indeed true. It is able to neutralize originium reactions to a certain extent.
Only to a certain extent? You don't seem particularly concerned about that caveat. Only to a certain extent?
And that's right. No matter how much effort the Sargonian casters put into unearthing and retrofitting it, it was nothing but a former city defense device. During the era in which it was put to use, originium was not yet widely available across the continent. I trust that it will be able to temporarily put a stop to Omnanam, and give the Fahrenmut spine an opportunity to take off, but it's not an inhibitor that can completely stay originium activity.
Have you been disappointed too many times over all these years?
Doctor, from your current perspective, what do you think originium is? A phenomenon brimming with the unknown? A resource to exploit, or perhaps a source of disaster and disease?
I can't say.
You don't want to, because your answer would be all the above. Originium has long been inextricably woven into everything we see. Our environment, our technology, our culture, and even our bodies. If a portion of a limb is necrotic, cutting it off might solve the problem. But what if the problem stretches from the beginning to end?
There are some people who see you as omnipotent. Why are you looking at me?
Doctor, you asked me if I've ever experienced disappointment. Just once. I allowed myself to become overly dependent on one person, and made a series of poor judgments and paid the price.
Are you referring to ...
But it doesn't mean that I'll stop believing. It is difficult enough to rebel against the very foundations of our origins. To pin your hopes on just one technology, or on one person, is utterly unrealistic.
Doctor Kelsey, please take a look at this. There's a cave up ahead. Ah, another cave! What's gonna be in there? Is it gonna be more spookies? More flaming... Uh-oh.
Someone's concealed the entrance. Crude, twisted. One of the Confiserius illusions.
Ah, of course, another Confiserius cave. There's gonna be more Mothmen. I'm sure we'll find a witchcraft altar in its deepest point. We should go to where the originium response is the strongest. There's originium everywhere. This level of originium activation is unprecedented. There's originium everywhere. How are you feeling, Amiya? Logos, you're also an infected. Do you feel anything abnormal? Kelsey, will our medicine still work? Yeah, will our medicine work on them?
It beats being completely unprepared. Under the influence of Omnanam, originium will come closer to its true nature. The crystal clusters will merge with all things, living and dead, at an increasing rate, sealing the data inside in an unsimilated form. Originium can only store information within its own structure. As such, any assimilated individuals will completely lose the forms they had in life. Some may see this as nothing more than an instantaneous decomposition. Just like those who die to an orpathy outbreak. There are some parallels. In the case of these patients, after their consciousness disperses, their bodies will disintegrate into highly activated originium dust over a period of time. Assimilation, on the other hand, condenses this entire process into the extreme. Rhodes Island technology can only delay cell originium assimilation rate from reaching a certain threshold. We're not able to truly erect a barrier that can stave off originium. Don't worry too much about that, Doctor. The originium saturation rate in our current environment is far from an extreme level.
Is our situation not extreme enough still? It's hard for me not to worry.
Right now, we can still breathe and move about. If we're quick enough to stop the Originium from spreading further, all hope is not yet lost.
Dr. Kelsey, Doctor, I can hear enemy movements. Logos, please prepare to intercept the enemy.
Intruders? It's the Banshee and... Erg! There are quite a few guards, but they're not difficult to manage. There must be greater dangers yet lurking in the shadows. Doctor, please stay close to us. The interference of the Confessorius witchcraft is making it hard for me to pinpoint the exact location, but the blood of T-Cats is undoubtedly nearby.
Tika's blood roused the first Originium from its slumber. Over the millennia, the fate of the Sarkas has been tangled together with Originium. Amiya and Logos are suffering, or rather, they've shouldered this pain the entire time just to come this far. What about you then? You think all the times Kelsey had to suppress the wounds she wished to say, the words she wished to say? You are not only a witness, but a bystander. Surely, you share a deeper connection with Originium, with this war, and with everything that's been going on. This is the blood of T-Kaz.
Ducario's obsession. This so-called pure blood is free of impurities. By itself, it possesses no inherent power. Amiya, cut off its connection to the altar.
Got it.
Wait.
Dr. Kelsey?
Monster, attack the corpse in front of that guard over there.
Howls! There's another monster? No, there's more than just one. All those defeated Confessorius guards weren't real guards at all.
Near perfect replicas. Only he could decorate this cave to look nearly identical to a real altar. This was a trap designed to lure us in.
Damasti.
Amiya, get behind me.
Furious howl. Monster stands in front of you, and you grip Amiya's hand tightly. The blood of T-Kaz is collapsing along with the entire altar, the surrounding rock walls pressing ever closer. Well, that happened. The illusion is no more, but the shifting terrain is real. The real altar must still be functioning, Originium continues to grow, and it will soon consume everything you see. Doctor! This is the Confessori's den! We seem to have fallen to the deepest level of the false altar. The Originium was shifting too fast, and I only had time to grab onto you. I don't know where Dr. Kelsey and Logos are. There's too much Originium here, too much information. I can't sense them at all. They're probably far away by now. The enemy wanted to entrap us. They want to stop us from destroying the altar. But you might still be the Confessori's real target. What they want is the King of Sarkaz. The ground is still shaking. Are the crystal clusters still spreading? Wait, that's... Ah, yes, the Mothmen. Them dang fireflies. A monster suddenly crawls forth from the Originium's depths. The horns of a Wendigo, the body of a gargoyle, the flames of a Diablo. You've seen these before, in the Confessori's stone sculptures of the various Sarkaz tribes, but never before sharing the same body. His emotions are chaotic. I see only memories, fragmented, blurry, and mashed together. Amiya, over there. There'll be many more, Doctor. This is the cave that gave birth to them. The Confessori sculpted them from the Sarkaz blood and Originium, and gave birth to these creatures. Does this make you sad, Amiya? They're alive, Doctor. They aren't chunks of rock or constructs of witchcraft. They are living beings. But they obey only the call of the Confessorius. They do not feel any pain, nor do they cry for their fate. People would normally call these creatures monsters.
That's right, monsters. Or alternatively, chimeras. Who are you even mourning for? For these mindless kin, or for yourself, the chimera forced to wear a crown?
Rollers. The fight is about to begin. Amiya, are you being affected in any way? Damn, more Confessorius witchcraft! Amiya, are you okay? Doctor, I won't let the commissary trap me a second time. I'm not so fragile as to let these illusions and nightmares get to me. That name, Chimera, is no different from those dream interrogations. I've heard it many times before. I have no right to be here if I let myself get shaken by that. Beyond that, however, I swear that I'd never let my immaturity drag you down again. A tiny crown appears above the head of the goddess girl. Black lines interweave and take form between her fingers. Your connection with the king is deepening. Perhaps. But it might not be enough. You go, Amiya!
Amiya, don't be in such a hurry to leave. These clones are nothing more than my incantations, Damasti. Or as you once put it, it's time wasted. We remember that performance and that stroll. We talked for quite some time. That day you at least still considered yourself a lord of the royal court despite having a different appearance. What are you now? We try to take on different identities, but these varying journeys have yet to provide us with an answer. What we conclude is, the path has neither beginning nor end. It is a cycle. And you sought out death to prove it. At death's end is nothingness. The myriad souls you speak of have said nothing to us. Banshee, how did it feel to sound the bone whistle for us? Shatter. There's no end to them. This is all you can muster. You've lost a lot of bite after your first death.
The clone destroyed by the incantation does not dissipate into nothingness as before. Instead, that body simply collapses, sinking into the originium tides until it quickly disappears without a trace. From it, a hand resembling a withered branch extends from within the crystal cluster.
Sudaram. Banshee, you once killed me as well. On the battlefield, I am not one of you. In Kazdel, I was ordered to kill those who betrayed the royal court. You got in my way and separated my head from my shoulders with your incantations. You were but a child then, with a puerile voice. I remember you. The traitors you mentioned were family of the three who wanted to flee Kazdel in search of a peaceful life. They swore an oath of fealty to the royal court. The royal court should never be held above ordinary sarcasm. You may have been a war hero of Kazdel once, but I cannot allow you to slaughter civilians. So you chose Babel and Teresa, all for the sake of your so-called ordinary sarcasm. That is the righteous path to the future. But even after she died, you still didn't return to Kazdel. You even helped those outsiders steal away the King of Sarkaz. The inheritance of the King of Sarkaz was a decision made by Her Highness Teresa. You killed me with your own hands. When your incantations were coiling around my heart, strangling it. Haha, I couldn't believe it. After fighting alongside each other for so many years, whatever you felt towards me paled in comparison to those outsiders. The potted golden grass you left behind in the ship is growing well now. After Her Highness's death, how many comrades did you slay with your own hands during the internal strife that engulfed Babel? The belongings left behind by so many people. I'm sure there's enough of them to fill your whole room, huh? Do you feel sorrow every time you look at that patch of grass I planted in that pot on a whim? If I were to feel sorrow, it would be because even death has denied you the solace you deserve. Damasti, you were never so keen to dress yourself up as the dead before. The exchange of words cannot provide you with any answers, nor can probing my emotions.
The dead do not respond. They continue to emerge from the dark crystal clusters. Many faces, some familiar, others not, all of them sarcasm.
Your innate abilities are resonating within the information stored inside the Originium, seeing as how your powers have grown thanks to the Originium.
Logos raises one hand. No incantations are needed, just a low humming sound from the vibrating of the rock walls. In a heartbeat, all of Damasti's clones are shattered.
Just as expected. There's one left. The very last one. It's you.
The vampire stands there in the cave steps, his expression almost identical to when he stood atop the Fairymood's skull that day. However, it is no longer fresh blood that rolls around him as before, but rather clusters of originium crystal. Logos can feel the blood in his body stirring.
The Sanguinarch of Vampires, Dukariel. You're not like the others, I know this. You are not one of the Damasti's avatars.
Oh? It's be he?
Lord Damasti, this portion of you decided to assist to Stag.
No, we have no interest in helping anyone in particular. We're simply searching for answers. Kelsey, we've met you before, when the Sarkas were not yet Sarkas. You walked across us.
I have no recollection of such a meeting.
At that time, we were unable to speak. And then,
the first king of Tikas came in contact with Originium.
That was our first awakening. The first individual rose up from among us. We felt one another. We had existed for an unknown amount of time before that, but it was only at that moment when we became aware of our existence. Because we began to think.
Originium will assimilate all life forms it comes into contact with, not just you, but also the original vampires, banshees, and wendigos. All Tikas have changed. You're approaching the form of another entity that once existed on this land.
Then, what are you? Kelsey is Kelsey. Howls, agitatedly. It seems extremely averse to seeing another self. Kelsey, the immortal, do you still remember what you looked like at first?
The immortal is a figment of certain people's imaginations, and a misrepresentation of myself. Time leaves its marks upon me all the same. The original entity by the name of Kelsey has long been lost beneath the golden sands.
But you're still yourself.
We're watching as you were reborn, at Teresa's side. You're different from your previous self, from your appearance to your personality. We're used to constant change for the sake of survival. Among the Sarkas, the Amasti cluster is unique. We once thought that you were like us. We know many Kelsey, just like Kelsey knows many of us. However, we will always be whole. Each Damasti is a receptor for us to feel this land. But Kelsey is different. Each Kelsey is still you. I do believe that to be true.
Why?
Is it the inheritance of memory that makes you so persistent? Memory can be easily tampered with and implanted. This we know, for many long-lived beings have tried such methods. Such immortality is nothing but an empty lie. Then, is it some kind of duty? I won't deny that my life has been duty-bound from the moment I was born. Looking back, I don't think I've ever truly been alive. The substances that make up your body have all been replaced. The memories inherited from your previous self are unreliable. The mission imposed upon you may not even be your own. Kelsey, what is it that has kept the continuity of you across these thousands of years? A name. A unique name or title. It is a question that so many emotionally deprived Sarkas would be keenly interested in. The name has many meanings. The person who gave me this name, and the people I care about, are now in danger. This isn't the time for us to be having this chat. We did not expect you to be this sentimental. Monster.
Excited howl. Damasti, if you want to talk, we can talk later. There's some stuff going on right now, you know? I like how it just ended off with Damasti trying to talk to everyone, or at least Logos and Kelsey. It's just like, can you please teach us stuff? I want to learn more about you. Let me talk. Talkity, talkity, talk, 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 talk. Well, Amia and we're in danger. All the differences and the situations. Gosh darn it. The one who stood out the most tonight overall, though, was Duke Windermere. Or not Duke Windermere. Wellington, I mean. Wellington. Wellington. He just felt different. I like how he's just like... Iblana wanted to show off her dominance there, but no. She was overshadowed by Wellington. Wellington just felt different. Oh man. And then I'll continue the story more tomorrow. And we're gonna start off with a tough fight. Wonderful. Lovely. It's okay that we're doing story mode, so it's not too scary. Okay, I see how this map be. Well, this will be an experience. An experience that I will continue tomorrow. Yeah. So with that being said, thank you everyone for stopping by the stream. I hope everyone has a great rest of the day and epic gacha luck. I shall see you guys later. I will try troubleshooting some stuff because gosh darn it, OBS-kun, come on. So I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye. Maybe I'll make